It's definitely not a fun truck. We're going to rip every bit of this totally out and just start over. We're going to bring this thing into the 21st century.
Great Coyote. Should be putting a little over 7 after the tuning.
It's a big old motor in a small little place, man. The side-by-side is great to get out and just have a good time with the family. It's time for an upgrade. I want to build an all-tube buggy. If this isn't a ground-up build, I don't know what it is.
Oh, look at my girl. Look at my girl.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
Like seeing a new project roll through the doors, especially, a cool Bronco rolls up, but popping out of the driver's seat.
The beast has landed. Bill!
Is Ted Nugent.
Are these the greatest trucks in the world?
They are, man. I'm a big fan of the Broncos for sure.
Original Bronco, it's an icon, man. I've been Broncoing my whole life. I got my first one in 1970. I got a 66. I got a 73. I got a big Bill Straught fire-breathing 90. I've always had Broncos. I love my Broncos. But this one I've probably had for 30 years. My beloved 1974 Ford Bronco. This is my baby. What you guys do here are miracles of wrench dreams, and I can't wait for you to turn my beast into my dream.
What are you doing with this?
Well, I want it to always be an old Bronco. You know, the look, the history, the icon. I want it to be tough, dependable, highway and Baja. And I know you can do it. I've seen what you've done.
Absolutely.
Probably a lot more horsepower, a lot more torque.
I got something in mind for that.
I bet you got something in mind for horsepower and torque. Bottom line is I want performance and fun. I want...
Or has been all his life. He's had these things since these things were new. So he knows all about the Broncos and he knows exactly what he wants. So power. Performance. Reliability is a given.
Number one.
So underneath this thing, we're just going to rip everything out and just start fresh.
Drive line and drive shafts, heavy duty stuff.
Everything 100%. Just bulletproof.
Yep. Well, I need a Baja capable suspension as if I was going to go race in an off-road race, which I did for about a dozen years.
What are you working with under here?
I know you pivot as I do on the heart of the beast. And here we have the heart of the beast. It's a beautiful 360 stroker that really performs well and delivers close to what I'm dreaming of.
Popping the hood on this thing, you see the engine that's in it. It's all right, but this is for Ted Nugent. It's got to have a lot of power. I think the best thing to do with this is just rip all this out. Every bit of wiring, the engine, the trans, and just start fresh.
Bill Straught would be proud.
This is going to be fun.
I know black trucks are cool as hell, but I've seen some of yours. Deep, dark bronze, copper, and all the accessories keep them black. How am I doing? I'm just a guitar player. That sounds pretty good.
That sounds real good. The bronze look on this thing with black accents.
That's my Freedom Eagle. This is my Freedom Eagle. I know this might not be preferable to some custom truck designers, but when you're all done, put my Eagle back on.
All right, you got it. So what do you got on the interior of this thing?
Well, you and I share a dream on the exterior, and I'm sure we share that dream on the interior. The stock Bronco seats are awesome. The speakers are too big. The roll cage, you're going to have to extensifize for me. But I want you to recommend stuff every step of the way, because your trucks are the best I've ever seen.
Well, I already know what to do. We're going to rip every bit of this totally out and just start over. New gauges, new steering wheel, new everything. Something just comfortable.
I've had so much fun working on my trucks all these years, and I know these guys at Extensive, they love their work. This is their dream job, and this is my dream project. We have a dream, and we share it. Bring my beast to life, Bill.
You got it. this old Bronco, it was built to be used. This thing is just meant to go out and conquer things. Every button on this thing, every handle, lever is built for a purpose. You know, just looking over this thing, seeing all the modifications, time is over. There's so many things we can build at the shop that just gonna bring this thing into the 21st century and make something really, really, really cool for Ted. Before we start cutting up this Bronco, I really need to take it on a spin and really see what old Ted's working with. When I'm out on a test drive in a vehicle like this, you kind of feel how much power it has. You feel how it handles, how it just drives down the road. You just kind of see where all the improvements need to be. In this case, everything needs to be improved. This thing's a fun truck, but it's definitely not a fun truck. It was good in the past, but now it isn't cutting it. As you can see, didn't take much to get this thing stuck. We're gonna get it unstuck, get it back to the shop so we can cut this thing up. What do you think about the old Bronco? Pretty cool, huh?
That's real cool.
A little bit. You know, it definitely doesn't have the power that it needs.
Bill Carlton said some don't have power.
Yeah.
Only 9 out of 10 times.
Ted wants to get in this thing and drive it wherever, however,
Off-road, jump, whatever he wants.
He's going to abuse this thing. I want this thing to be able to go 100 miles an hour down the road and just jump over stuff, jump right back on the freeway, haul ass home.
So he drives just like you.
You know, I might have to drive it home and test it out a day or two, you know, just to make sure it's good for him before we give him back. Right? First thing we need to do is get it up on the lip so we can strip out all the old suspension. Everything's got to go. We'll build a super strong, bulletproof 4-link suspension, coilovers, front and rear, something that he can just launch this thing. Got a stroker 360 in there. It looks nice, decent. It was real cool back in the 80s, but it's definitely not going to cut it now. Rip everything in here, all the wiring, everything 100% out of here. I'm going to put a brand new 5.0 with supercharger on it.
This little thing with supercharger.
Right? Once we get all the suspension built, John and the guys over at Interior Shop can start building him something old and put back in what's needed. As far as the exterior, of course I like black cars, but in this case, he picked a bronze copper color. Of course, we'll put our little spin on that to really get the color right on it.
We're getting rid of the Eagle, right?
Man, he was pretty set on having the Eagle on the hood, so I don't know if I can talk him out of that one. Ted's definitely made updates to this Bronco over the years. But we're going to tear all that out. The old suspension, drive shafts, shocks, you name it. So we can start all over again.
Well, there is a bunch of stuff in here.
Bunch of everything bolted down.
What we'll do, I guess, is take the hood, flip it all the way back, and then pull everything out from the top. So we'll take everything, just fold it over on top of the motor, put it on a pallet, wrap it up, and then we'll get ready to put the Coyote in it.
Jamie, watch your fingers, listen. All right, back up. Let me see that front bar. Let the truck down some, just a little bit.
Now we have it out, we're gonna wrap it up with some plastic, put all the parts on this pallet. We'll ship that back to Ted. He's got 4 or 5 other Broncos. He liked this motor so much, he's gonna put in something else.
Yeah, buddy.
got for you today? Crate Coyote, a little supercharger on top. Should be putting a little over 7 after the tuning.
This thing's gonna be a huge improvement when we pulled out that thing.
This is gonna be 100% American flag waving rock and roll.
Going down. Good?
Yeah, good so far.
A big part of the custom world is creating custom details, even in places you don't always look.
It's a big old motor in a small little place, man. That thing fits in there.
Wake up this 74 Bronco, but we definitely can't leave its engine bay looking stock.
Basically, when you open this hood, it just looks squared. It was bed linered. It just looked like an old Bronco. So we're adding these panels in here. These two here to take up the sides. Now we're gonna do the front panel that covers the radiator. Kind of made a rough template. This will give us a rough estimate of where we need to be. We'll cut this piece out of a piece of sheet metal. It's gonna fit right on the truck the first time. Yeah, that's a good part about doing what we do is there's no real book on how to do it. Everybody has their own different way. So with this, it's just kind of free reign to do whatever you want, as long as it makes the engine bay look better. And when it's done and painted, it looks like a lot of thought went into that rather than just a bunch of scanning and print. What do you think, buddy? You got a cold-ass nose. You know, this is another example of like geometry in school, trying to read out of a book, wasn't happening. Now, in the shop, whether it's a suspension, it's placing a bag, panels, we use it all the time. Hands-on geometry, I love. Trying to figure things out, trying to figure out angles, this and that. If I would have hands-on learned it like this, I would have been a straight A student. See how this engine bay starts, everything hidden. So when you open the hood, it makes all your attention go to this motor. We want to give him 100% effort on this engine bay. When you open it, it's just a wow factor.
John! Help us grab his top off?
Ted's Bronco just isn't for show. So I have Tim and John building a custom lift that's going to give this Bronco a ton of travel and going to ride super smooth.
So in the back of this Bronco, we're doing a triangulated 4-link instead of just your traditional parallel 4-link with a panhard bar. And what we got is our lower arms starting out wide, coming in towards the frame, and the upper arms starting narrow and go wide towards the frame. And that's what keeps the rear end centered underneath this truck. In my honest opinion, this suspension design is way better for like off-roading or jumping stuff. If you jump off the ground or hit bumps or uneven roads, this thing stays centered as the axle does this. And that's what we want, because he is going to be off-roading this truck. So he has to have the best suspension articulation for it. Now we got a 4-link in place, exactly where we want our rear end. Cycle the suspension up and down. Articulates pretty good, Timmy. This thing's gonna drive really, really good.
So when this Bronco came in, it was originally leaf spring, where the leaf spring held the Bronco up. I need room for the coilover to go to here, up, and as you can see, we're gonna run into the body. So I'm gonna come in here where they've already notched it back for their shock. I'm gonna cut the body out of the way, and then we'll have room to mount the coilover however we want, to mount it properly without having to go around the body. This is the notch on the bottom. So we're gonna continue this line back, flush with the back. I'm gonna cut this, and this will eventually move out to here, and we'll skin the middle back in. As you can see, this thin wall tubing definitely was not gonna hold the truck up. So it's basically made for a shock, not for a coilover.
Off-roading's come a long way since this Bronco rolled off the lot in 1974. And while we're bringing the suspension in the 21st century, John and Brian are going to update the interior.
What's up, man?
What we got?
We got parts. We got a new project going on.
What we got today?
So, man, I'm thinking on the
heat shield?
AR heat shield. What I'm thinking is we take these and use these as armrests. And we can take these rail mounts and get these mounted to the door. Take this with the Picatinny rails in it and bolt it in place. And then
solid.
Yeah, and then down on the bottom of this door, just to break up that flatness, well, I'm thinking we just take out of some ABS plastic and make our own Picatinny rails. We just wrap the door panel over top of those, and this thing will come together pretty quick.
Let's get it. Got my piece of ABS here. What I'm fixing to start doing is I'm gonna put this on this table saw. With this dado blade here, it'll cut us the right width that we need to start making our mock-up Picatinny mounts out of plastic. But now that I've got this panel all cut down to mimic the Picatinny rails, now I gotta cut it into thinner strips so it carries the same design all the way through. Now that these are all cut, you notice these are square versus these are beveled over. And then we'll run them back through so we can bevel the edges to make it mimic perfect. See my bevels here? We are matching now. Our dado blade cuts these little lines in here. We gotta get those out of there. What we use this tucking tool. You just get them in there and push them, pop it loose.
These things are going to see where we want to put that at. We got everything cut, modified, ready to go. Get it marked out so we can get the holes drilled in. And then we'll take these rails here that Brian just finished up. We'll get these on the bottom of the door. Get everything locked into place. Once it's all locked in, this panel will be ready to wrap and get it on the truck.
Busy as we are, I gotta make a little time to take the kids out to nature. You know, just clear my mind. Ted's been a huge part of the off-road community for many years, and working on this Bronco has made me think about something that I had in mind for quite a while. You know, it's no secret, I'm kind of hard on my vehicles. I hadn't found one yet that'll hold up 100% of the time when I'm driving. So, I'm gonna start building my own.
I knew it.
It's time for an upgrade.
That was fun.
Yeah. Are you gonna build one of these?
Maybe. It crawls over stuff, but I know we can build something way, way bigger and better.
So does Mom know you want to build one of these?
She don't even know everything. You know, I've been thinking about this project for quite some time. You know, after taking the kids out, this project I'm getting really, really excited about. The side-by-side game has just gotten unbelievably crazy. I mean, these things are 1,000cc, 170 plus horsepower right out of the box. It feels like you're, you know, in a slingshot. But still, those things are very limited. There's always a belt gonna break, ball joint gonna snap every time you take them out. I just want something totally one of a kind, unique, and indestructible. I got some big ideas, some big plans, and I got 4 really big things on the back of this record to get started with.
What is this? Those are some big tires.
Right? Yeah, 58 inches tall, 24-inch rim.
Wow. Man, what are your plans with this thing?
You know, the side-by-side, but it's definitely limited, right? Well, with these, I want to build something that just pretty much limitless.
That's really scary coming from you. Right. Really scary. So you want to build a buggy from nothing.
We're going to build everything around these tires.
That's going to be fun.
Big shocks, big 4-link with big military axles, so I'll never have to worry about snapping axle or anything like that. All tube chassis and big Cummins diesel in this thing.
Oh,
so,
diesel?
Yeah, just over the top and just indestructible is what I want.
You found the limitations on your Baja truck. You found the limitations on your side-by-side. I know you're going to push this to the limitations.
Well, you know, you got to test everything out to see where those limits are, right?
So does your wife know about this?
You know, Keegan asked me the same thing. She ain't got to know everything.
All right.
You know, most of the time, you're starting out with a car, a truck, lifted, lowered. You got a kind of idea of what your parameters are. On this specific build, we're starting out with tires. That's it. Pretty pretty much all of this build is in my head. One of the first things when you're designing something like this, it totally depends on the wheelbase, the stance. You know, once you get the tires in place, once those proportions look good, first you get the floor built. You figure out where the engine's gonna be. You figure out where the seats are gonna be. Once that's established, then you start building the cage itself. Then you start building the front end around the engine. Then you start building the rear end around shocks. All that comes into play, and you can only establish that in stages. Once you establish all that, you can actually start cutting some metal and start building. We finished the custom 4 links on the Bronco. Now John and Tim are going to make rear shock towers.
Now, due to having a tall, long travel shock, we have to go higher with the shock mount. So we had to build this hoop that's going to get welded to the frame and raised up about a good 10 inches higher, so the top of the shock come out way up in the truck, which is going to give us the distance we need from here to the axle to accommodate that long travel shock. Right, just about a half inch from the bottom. There. Now we got our shock tower in place. All we gotta do now is make our shock mounts to attach the shock from here down to the axle.
Are you done now?
So I'm waiting on you. Now I got the shock in place, set up at right height. Now I just gotta add some reinforcements to the shock tower that are gonna go a little something like that and connect it down to the frame. Put me some reference lines up there, get it spaced right. Got cut on that line there. Not only is this gonna give this shock tower a whole lot more strength, but it also has the signature extensive aesthetic with this little step out here on the frame and then the tubing put it up to it. Now, if you see a style like this out on the road, you know this came from extensive. Ted's gonna abuse the crap out of this Bronco, so he's gonna need some good coilover shocks to go with this heavy duty suspension we're building on it. These ain't your ordinary shocks you go pick up at an auto parts shop. These are designed to take a beating. Anything he wants to drive it through, this shock will handle. We're gonna mock up one of the shocks without the spring. Long travel suspension means that your suspension will articulate a lot more than what a stock suspension would. And in this case, you got 12 inches of suspension travel on this truck. Wish I had 4 of them for my truck. Then I'd paint it and wash it.
Nice. All right, so we got our new foams for Ted's Bronco. These have been modified a little bit. They've got these bolsters made into them to help hold him in the seat a little better. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna take our foams. We're gonna start drawing out our patterns on this so we can get it all figured out and get everything to size. That way we can take that and transfer that from our foam into our material. Then we'll have something to sew together. I'm just transferring my patterns into this chipboard here for my insert. We'll cut this out. So what I'll do is I'll just use these pieces to get everything lined out and drawn out on top of my vinyl. All right, got it all drawn up. Everything's laid out. Next thing I'm gonna do, sit down and start sewing. Put some thread in this material. Pretty intricate on this because your last stitch will land exactly on the point where you want to turn, because if you're off on your turn just a little bit, it won't line up with the next line, then your whole pattern gets off. That's done. Now all we gotta do is cut it out. All right, that's one piece of one part to the mini parts we have to make, so I gotta get started on this. We'll get everything transferred on the rest and get them all cut out and start sewing them together.
With the new Coyote custom shocks, suspension. It's really important to keep the Bronco running straight. And John's working on that right now.
Now that we're done with the suspension, all we gotta do is add the steering shocks to stabilize the steering. With these big wheels and tires, you need some kind of absorption to absorb all the shock that the tires are gonna be going through. So we're gonna put 2 of these in line, as so, and these are gonna take all the shock out of the steering. So I got my mounts cut out, and these are gonna be placed here, centered with the differential. Now we're gonna mount 2 shocks here, one going this way, one going that way, fixed to the steering. Now we got the shock mount in, shocks mounted, everything's in line. Now we gotta do is make the last final 2 tabs on each end. We're gonna bolt these up to the end of the shock, 1 3/4. That's what we want. We'll tack that. Then we'll steer it to the right. We'll tack that side. Now we got the steering shocks on. As you can see, it steers left and right. It's gonna make for a smoother ride while Ted's taking this thing off-roading.
Now that John's finished up with the steering on the Bronco,
You ready to get this body off?
it's time to blow apart the frame and suspension.
We're gonna get this frame moved out of the way, get another dolly in here to set the body on, and get the body over to the body shop. Now that we got the chassis out from underneath the body, we got the shocks off out of the way, it's time to finish welding everything out since everything's just tacked in place for now. Get that all welded out, get the engine off, and then this will get sent off powder coat.
You know, I've never built before. I want to build an all-tube buggy. Of course, with any project, you want something, you know, pretty much indestructible. You got to start out with some indestructible parts. So I'm going to meet up with a friend of mine, Charlie. He's got some military trucks in his property, so we're going to dig around, see what we can come up with to really get this project started. What up, Charlie?
What's going on, Bill?
Man, I need your help. You know, I want to build a buggy, just something I can take anywhere and do anything with, just something totally indestructible. And I know you got those military trucks back there. What better axles to use than those big old deuce and a half?
I got them hid back there in the bushes. It's growed up pretty good, but we're going to have to get past the guard donkey.
You got a guard donkey?
I carry carrots, so they don't bite you. Me and Bill go way back. We've been friends for about 25 years. They called me. I had a tow truck at the time. I went out there and he had a truck, the airbag blowed out of it.
Man, you really do have a donkey.
Got it up on the truck, got it hauled to the shop, dropped off without any damage to it. We've been friends ever since. Here's a carrot. You're going to have to become his friend before the day is up.
Come here, buddy.
I got a donkey because the donkey is loud. You can pet him, it's barking all the time, but when you hear my donkey holler, you know somebody's in the yard.
Man, he don't look too bad, Charlie. So all you need to do is bring some carrots and I can have whatever I want, huh?
Yeah.
Cool. Where are these axles at?
Back there in the back.
Charlie, you got crap everywhere.
I got a hoarding disorder.
Yeah. That's a totally different show.
This place, I've been here about 20 years. I collect a little bit of everything. I got boats, jet skis, front end loaders, fuel tank, Volkswagens, Jeeps.
What are you gonna do with this?
Think about making a restaurant out of it one day. Well, you know, I might make a hunting cabin. The houseboat, I was gonna take it out to my place on the lake, but the community rules didn't like the idea of me bringing it up there and making a cabin out of it, so this is as far as it's gotten. Well, here she is.
That's exactly what I need, Charlie. What, he's 2.5 tons?
Yes, sir.
You got a tree growing through this thing. How long has this been back here?
Well, we count the rings on that tree. Tell you how long it's been sitting there.
Well, this is it, man. You know, I can't haul this thing.
No, I'll get the loader and drag it out.
Man, I know you're going to give me a good deal on these things.
I'll figure out something for you to trade out on. You might have to get some carrots from a donkey.
All right. Since these been operational, so we'll need to fix them up. But these axles are exactly what I need for my buggy. If this isn't a ground up build, I don't know what it is. So far, we have axles and tires for my off-road buggy. Because we're building this from scratch, sourcing the right parts is even more important. And the list, it just keeps growing.
What's up, boss?
What's up, man? Need some parts.
For your buggy? Need a lot of parts.
Got the diesel engine.
Diesel
family. Bring the engine. Bring the trans. We got tires. We need column, steering wheel, seats. Because all of the builds in my head, each part we get just kind of influences the next one. We need wheels. We need big wheels. Gotta have to make them.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have somebody make those.
Yeah. Shocks. We need big shocks.
So we want like some big 2.5 or a 3 with a big remote reservoir.
Correct.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, you already know. Once we get all the parts, we can go to the next phase of design and start building something we've never built here at the shop before. And we'll get there. I promise you that.
I think that's a manageable list. I think I can knock that out pretty quick.
With this being a personal build and us being as busy as we are, it's going to be slow and steady. You know, I finally want something that will hold up to my driving.
That's a tall order, but
right?
That's what we got to do then.
That's what we're doing.
Right on. I'm with it.
We're doing it.
It's going to be awesome.
While the body guys are finishing up on the 74 Bronco, John's getting that much closer to buttoning up that custom interior.
Got the panels all ready to wrap, and cool idea just turned into a pain in the butt idea.
Let's build Picatinny rails. You know, wrap them in vinyl. I'm gonna start questioning from now on what these great ideas are.
Working on these door panels, they've been a real pain to get these details, but that's kind of what we do around here, you know. We make it different, try to outdo ourselves. You know, I've never made a Picatinny rail before, much less tried to wrap one. Anybody else? Just like that, the door panel for the Bronco is finished. So all of our time so far has just been spent making pieces and patterns and panels and all that good stuff. So now all we're gonna do is sit down here and put it all together. We wanted to personalize these a little bit for Ted. Had the embroidery shop embroider his logo directly onto it. It's gonna look pretty cool on top of the seat. All right, that's the last pieces of the covers for Ted's truck. Test fit these, just make sure they fit just right. The logo turned out really nice up here. Gives it a nice personal touch. Everything worked out good. The lines are nice and neat and straight. Get this thing buttoned up. We'll get them in the truck and we'll be just about done.
Ted said he wanted stray away from the black. He wanted some color this time. And he said he wanted some, you know, like a bronzy kind of coppery color. So I'm looking through little color chips to kind of see what would look cool. I'm definitely feeling the copper color, but finding that right one is always difficult. We're getting close. Or I think that right there. I think that's it right there. The perfect color for Ted's Bronco. Every color kind of plays upon the wheels, tires, the stance. You know, when it's picking color for myself, nothing to it. Hey, I like that color. But when you're picking a color for someone else, especially Ted Nugent, you want to make sure it's right for sure. All the metal fabrication, all the interior, all the wheels, tires, suspension, all that is void if the color isn't right. So this is a crucial stage in any build. I think probably a black roof along with glossy black suspension, maybe color match bead locks on the wheels. That'd just totally make for not only a huge transformation, but just something that just looks mean, and Ted's gonna be happy to be seen in this. Ted said he wanted to transform this Bronco into a beast. And seeing the rolling chassis come together, new wheels, tires.
Too much, right there.
You know, I don't think you could call it anything else except a beast.
A Bronco cult, and I may be the czar of the Bronco cult. I'm not just the Motor City madman because someone thought I was. I really am. I was born in Detroit in '48, and you add the horsepower Detroit guy to a bow hunting outdoor maniac like me, and by the time I got my first Bronco in 1970, I thought I was like Mickey Thompson and Bill Strop and Parnelli Jones at the Baja. Even though I was only in a swamp in the Michigan woods, those off-road races were the research and development of what we now enjoy, even with the brand new Broncos coming out. There's Bronco Dreams, and then there's Texas Metal Extensive Bronco Dreams. I can't wait to get behind the wheel and just go nuts.
74 Bronco. But before we give it back, I want to surprise Ted with one more detail that I know he'll love.
That's a whole lot better place than the hood. That's pretty cool. Freedom Eagle.
We've been working on this Bronco for him for quite some time. It's a huge journey, a lot of work. And today is the day we find out how good we did. If we did all right, or if it's Ted Nugent approved.
Bill, good to see you.
Man, good to see you, man. Good to see you.
I can't wait to see what you've done to my girl. I have these big dreams.
You know, I'd be lying if I say I'm not nervous right now about what you think about your truck, because I know you have such extensive history
Yes.
with Broncos, and I know you know every nut and bolt on a Bronco.
I do, yeah. I might know the history of Broncos, but I'm looking forward to the future of the extensive Bronco, because I have a funny feeling that this is unprecedented. And if you would please bring me my girl ASAP before I go nuts.
I'm ready to show you this. We've been all working hard.
Begin.
Let's check it out.
Oh, look at my girl. Look at my girl.
Bill, you're my man. You're my Bronco daddy. Oh, praise the mighty Bronco.
This is a dream come true, Bill. And thank you so much. This is exactly what I envisioned. Say hallelujah, Bronco cult everywhere. It sounds beautiful. It looks beautiful. It smells beautiful. Wow. Congratulations, gentlemen. You're my Bronco czars. I'm glad you don't play guitar. I'd have to quit. You pushed my limits. You beat the living out of me, man. This is, I just love this.
His reaction totally sealed the deal. We know we did a good job. First thing, you know, it was a nice truck, but we had to get it up on the lift and just rip everything out.
Yep.
Everything is 100% brand new.
The long four-link bars, extended travel coilover shocks, so you can take this thing through anything and ride comfortably.
Michigan swamps haven't got a prayer. I see it all. The custom bumpers, the lights, the roof rack is just unbelievable. With all their unique, creative, original classic Bronco image, but you fortified and augmented it. It's Bronco art. It's got that burnt orange copper bronze thing going on. And you even got the matching bronze on the axles and on the pigs.
With the black suspension, you know, black frame. You want a little color down underneath there,
yes,
right?
This color combination is absolutely perfect. And the word perfect is so rare nowadays.
Ted, I know you're going to be spending a lot of time in it.
I will.
Check this out.
Let's check it out. Oh, boy. Look at this. Are you kidding me? Look at my new home on wheels. How beautiful is that?
We couldn't leave well enough alone, right? So we just ripped everything down to the sheet metal, upgraded everything. The seats, the headliner, the door panels. Oh, we just had to incorporate.
Great touch, man. Those look like Nugentized door panels to me. Perfect. The more you can Nugentize, the better life you have. You've really checked off all the boxes. This is going to be my daily driver. It's not a show truck, but it's a go truck that happens to be a show truck. And I'm not going to treat it too tenderly. I will respect your artistry, but she's going to be a workhorse.
I know you had to keep the Eagle. We had to keep the Eagle.
Had to keep the Eagle.
But, you know, we kept it. And as you're with it, you can touch it at all times.
You made a great decision, man. Thank you so much.
Well, if you like this, wait till you see under the hood.
I can't wait to see under the hood. I love under the hood. It's all awesome, but I have a funny feeling this is going to be my favorite.
Me too.
Oh my God. I don't think that's legal in Detroit. That is so beautiful. Look at that.
The engine that came in here, it was all right.
That's nice.
Nothing compared to the new Coyote, especially with the supercharger on. Max tune, you're probably about 7.
That'll do.
Pushing a little over 7.
That'll do. That'll get me where I'm going. To get this beast in an old Bronco. Congratulations. You guys.
One thing we wanted to do for you was leave everything you need accessible.
Right.
But everything else is all under the panels, so you don't see none of that. Out of sight, out of
It's
mind.
an engineering masterpiece. Again, this is the way everybody should do it. That engine compartment is so clean and so efficient. What he does to the engine bay, it's literally artwork. I had visions and outrageous ideas, but you guys actually kicked my ass. I'm going to go to these old Bronco rallies, and the rest of the Broncos are going to part like the Red Sea.
Let's go for a ride.
Let's go for a ride. I'm driving.
We all put 100% old truck. It's a huge honor for myself and my team to put our skills, our passion, and our just love for what we do into a project like this. Watch the car shows, the truck drives by, I won't see people go, dang, look at that right there. We got to go a little bit bigger than I was originally anticipating.
This thing is a beast.
You know, a few months back, old Blue Thunder was just a shell of a vehicle. There's a lot of work involved to bring it up to 2021 standards.
We want to make sure that this thing still has that classy look, that classy feel to it.
This is not like anything we've ever built before.
That is way bigger than I thought you guys were going to build it.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
Foot a little heavy getting out of the truck there?
You know, got to test out the new tires, you know, straight from the dealership. You got to break them in.
So, man, you finally found one, huh?
Yeah.
I know you've been looking for a minute trying to get one.
These aren't easy to find these days, for sure. You know, it's time for a new shop vehicle. Man, it feels like we go through one every couple years. I need something that will pull a new trailer that will haul multiple cars at once. You know, the F450 is the perfect platform for what we do around here.
Man, this thing is a 2021 F450 King Ranch. What could you possibly want to do to it? Like, what's wrong with it?
Man, it's a really, really nice truck, but I can't be riding around stock like this. I can't do it. Customization is in my blood. This is what we live and breathe every day. I cringe when I'm driving down the road in a stock vehicle. I mean, that's not me. So I'm thinking, you know, it needs a couple of little small upgrades. Just a real small, super small lift, and maybe just a little upgraded tires. A little bit bigger, a little bit wider, nothing crazy.
Bill Carlton that I know was never happy with 19.5s. In 2000, you had to get semi wheels and turn them down. Then you had to get the Hummer and put the biggest wheel on it. Then your lifted truck had the biggest 30x16s. And this one we're going to do just a little bit bigger.
Just a little. We're way too busy to build a bunch of crazy stuff on it. So just a little bit higher, a little bit nicer wheel and tires, just a little bit taller, a little wider.
So the biggest wheel and tire possible.
Man, just a little bit bigger.
I'll make sure we're on the same page here, and you are hearing what you're saying. You want to do a little lift and a little upgrade on wheel and tires.
That's it.
Okay. I'll go ahead and open the bay door, and we'll get in the air. We'll get ready. We may have to put on the bigger bay, 'cause I know you, it may not fit out that door after the big lift and wheels and tires. I'm going to open the door.
I've been a fan of the F-Series trucks for quite some time. As soon as the new 2021 came out, I definitely had my eye on it. As much as I like these trucks, there's always something that just sticks out in your head that you don't like about it. So, that's what I want to do. Just get it in the shop and put my custom touches on it. And just when I buy a car, that's the first thing I want to do is just tearing it all out and just starting over. Just see what we can do to make it cool, make it stand out, make it different. And really, that's what Extensive is all about, making a bone stock car cool. I mean, even something that's been customized before, it doesn't matter. We're going to make it cooler. I'm going to be driving this truck on a almost daily basis back and forth to work. So I'm excited to get in the 2-post lift and start tearing this apart, start creating something cool. You get it up here, Timmy.
I'm just wondering why you wanted it this high.
What do you think? That's not a good ride height?
It wouldn't surprise me one bit. It's not how you want to go.
No. Man, after looking it over, I'm going to say it this one time. This time, you're right, Timmy. You're right. We got to go a little bit bigger than I was originally anticipating. A little bit. I mean, this represents everybody here. Not only am I going to drive it a lot, but we're going to use it for the shop. We're going to go to shows, and I want to get a 2-car trailer to put behind it, load some cars up on it, have a nice-looking caravan going down the road. We're well represented. Yeah. A little bit bigger wheel than I was originally anticipating, so 28-inch wheel, and the tires maybe a little bit bigger too, like 40s.
He said I'm going a little bit bigger tire, a little bit bigger wheel.
Yeah, and then we got to be able to clear the 40s, so it's got to be at least 3 feet off the ground, right? And I want to switch up a little bit too and put coilovers on it this time. Coilovers on the front, nice shock hoop and everything, but on the back, we can't have a coilover and haul a 2-car trailer, right? So a big airbag on the back, big 4-link front and rear, so we can totally adjust it depending on the weight, so we can haul whatever we want and not have any issues. Right. And we got to make it look good while we're going there too. So I want to take all the chrome off, paint the grill, all color matched, all black, and just make this thing look mean coming down the road. And I want to put a rolling lock bed cover on it too, just so we can lock up all our stuff in it and just not have to worry about nothing. Just use it, man. We'll have a good time with it. So, y'all ready to do it?
All right.
We got a brand new King Ranch in. We're gonna go ahead and start getting this took apart so we can make it a whole lot cooler. One shot, brand new. I think this truck only has like 46 miles on it. It's the kind of shop we are, I guess. All we got left is the drive shaft. We're gonna remove that. Hey Tim, would you give me a hand? Alright, it's gonna go get powder coated. Not gonna try and lower this by myself. I'm gonna call Mr. Muscle over. Thanks, Muscle Man.
Alright, we got the truck all disconnected from the axles, got rid of all the leaf springs, the multiple measurements to figure out the ride height, where I want the truck to sit. The axles are located at the right height, so the next step is building the 4-link placement. Everything is going to depend on the drop down on the frame itself of where the play happy. So it's really critical of placement of all the pivot points. So I got to locate where the pivot points are. Once those are located on the template, all I have to do is get back and draw whatever looks cool. I got my pivot points located in the template itself. Got a real rough idea how I want the shape in metal. The drop down itself is going to be really a focal point to look at. So you really want that to look cool. I think what I'm going to do is bring it over to the table, then I can really lay it out and really get a feel for design. You know, I just want to come up with something that's different. You know, I hate doing the same thing over and over and over. So that's definitely not what we're going to do on this. We're going to do something that's unique, creative. That's what I want. I want something, when the truck drives by, people go, dang, look at that right there. And this being a major focal point on parts, this has got to look good. The major shape, the major measurements are all in place. So I'm going to transfer this over to some metal. So I'm going to give this to Jesse. Buddy, you already know.
Yep.
At a 1/4 inch. This is the main thing right here. Is 3/4 hole, 3/4 hole. And the rest, this just make it straight here.
All right, I'll get right on it. All right, so Bill brought me the drawings for the hangers. So now what I'm gonna do now is just grab all the measurements, just put them on my trusty computer, and get it ready to go on the plasma table. But now the only thing is, these are a whole lot longer. Because usually the ones we build usually are like half the length. So these are like double the length. This actually backs up perfectly, so the machine did its job. So now what I'm gonna do, just clean them up real quick. Find the center of these circles right here. I'm gonna mark my hose, punch them. I gotta clean that one off real quick. So I got these all cleaned up, punched up. As you can see, these hangers are big, bigger than normal size, but it's for Bill's shop truck, and you already know, whatever Bill does is never small. So let me walk this over to him. Let's see how that truck turns out.
You know, lifting up the 450 is part one of my new idea for the shop trucks all around the country. And for that, we need a custom trailer. And luckily, I know just the guy to help. What's up, Brian?
Hey, man. What's going on? How you doing?
Man, real good, real good.
What's going on in your world? What are you in there for?
Well, I got a new shop truck.
Okay.
And it's got a little lift on it.
They all have a little lift on it. What are we talking a little lift here?
Well, it's a little higher than normal.
Come on, let's go in the back here and draw it up.
So, Robert, what I need is a bumper pull.
Right.
And I want the ability of hauling 2 cars at once, and I don't want to be limited to the weight I can carry. My big 5500, which is 16,000 pounds, and and Tim's truck itself is over 10,000. Plus, whatever else I fit on the trailers.
Okay.
At least 30,000 pounds.
I think we got the perfect trailer for you. What we can do is we can take one of our basic VT trailers here. We can modify the front to where we'll put a 1-inch plate here at the height we need, so that you won't have a big drop coming off the truck.
Right, yeah, that's what I don't want, is the big drop coming down, having to support it,
Exactly.
and have to worry about stopping and starting.
We'll put all of that on the trailer itself. This one shows fold-over ramps. We're going to do pull-out ramps. Make it easier for you to get up on there.
Right.
These are typically utensils. That should give you more than enough capacity for anything that you're trying to do. We're going to go with 17.5 tires, dual wheel. You will not have wheel and tire issues. I promise you that.
Big axles, big tires, super long.
This thing is going to be massive. With all the specs and things that Bill's telling me, this is probably going to be one of the largest open-air bumper pull trailers that we've ever built.
That sounds like it. That's what I need.
All right,
let's do it. Now that we figured out the hangers, Tim and Dave are making room for the huge drop down by smoothing everything out. What do you think, Timmy?
That's a big bracket.
It's a huge bracket that holds a lot of weight, right?
Plus, with all this boxed, it's going to be even stronger.
Oh yeah, what we'll do, we got the 2 outer pieces on, let's get the 2 inner pieces on, and we'll start boxing that in. That's the next step. Because we're going to be hauling a lot of weight with the F450, the rear suspension has to be extra heavy duty. We're going to make the 4 links out of 5/16 DOM tubing, and then we're going to build our 4-link bars. So it's basically, it's literally bulletproof. Lower, twist it. All right, 58 and 3/8. This is going to let us transfer all the power from the truck all the way down to the axle, and it all comes right through the 4-link bars themselves. So that's a major component of the suspension and transferring all the power to the truck, to the road, and to be able to handle everything that's behind this truck as far as stopping and starting. All of that weight gets transferred right here on these bracketry all the way up to the truck itself.
We're making the rear link bars. These are the, looks like the lower. Like I said, I made the lines when I was cutting with the saw, so I know this is as far as I can go to get my measurement for the coping. But as long as I go to there, I'm good.
It's pretty cool. We can make these quick little fixtures, quick little jigs, you know, to make them consistent. Not only that, when we're building it, but after we tear this apart, get it powder coated, we use that same jig to put it all back together. It all goes right back in nice and straight. You don't have to, you already know it because the picture's already here. Get it all square first. So it's a really, really critical stage of the build process is getting everything 100% square. We want the truck going down the road with the trailer going perfectly straight. Ready?
Yeah.
That is absolutely perfect. Timmy.
Yes, sir.
Man, the 046 Ford. It's endless, right?
It's always the small details that take the longest, and we ain't started none of those yet.
Right. You know, a few months back, old Blue Thunder was just a shell of a vehicle. In a few more months, it'd be a badass surprise from my fellow Northsider, Ryan and his dad. We gotta hook him up. We gotta get it done.
Yeah, you're true on that. We need to get something good for him.
You know, good thing, we got a lot of stuff out of the way. We got a lot of stuff checked off our list. We got the frame complete. We got the rear suspension done. We got the engine mounted. You know, got rid of the old Chevy engine. Got a new late model 5.0 Coyote in it. You know, we've done a lot of work to it, but we got a long way to go still. Next up on the list is all new floor. There's no reason to even try to save it. Let's just cut it all to the rear bumper. Front suspension. You know, there's nothing in the interior, which is good. We don't have to tear anything out anymore. Bad for John. John's got to make everything. But, you know, the good thing about it, we can make it how we want it and make it cool. There's a lot of work involved there to bring it up to 2021 standards.
So where do you want to start?
Well, let's just get out and get after it. We'll get the floors done, get the front suspension done, then we can pull the front end off, do the firewall.
All right, well, I'll get with Max and get the column, the gauges, the AC, make sure we have everything here, and if not, we need to get it here, because right now, shipping is crazy. You think 2 days and take 2 months.
When it came back from Media Blast, the Ford was in really, really rough shape. The body guys can fix some of it, but the floors are just beyond fixing. So we cut them all out and just started totally fresh.
So now I got the old floor cut out. Next step is go ahead and start breaking my new metal for the transition. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut this out and continue on making the drive shaft tunnel. Okay, so I got my 2 filler pieces in. Next step is go ahead and make this piece tunnel. As you can see, all these little lines right here, I'm breaking it. It's starting to roll. So if I do enough of these lines on both sides of the center, it's going to have a nice radius over the transmission. Everything's looking good right here. So now it's time to go ahead and make my drive shaft tunnel fit to my transmission tunnel.
no brakes in it, so it's going to be one nice smooth line. It's going to go right to my transmission tunnel. Everything is really just coming together on this car. There you go, man. Heck yeah. This is pretty much the only piece of the original floor left. Everything else has been made new. Alright. Looking good, man, compared to what it was, right? Full of rust and full of holes, and this wasn't safe, full of crap. Yeah. This puts us about midway point as far as they'll take the body off and get busy. That sounds good.
To save some time, we're going to work on the front and the back at the same time for the coupe. So our new fabricator, John, is making the notch cover. We've heard about John for a while. We know about his skill set. And as busy as we are right now, it's good to have him on the team.
So now we got the notch in, and it all fits nice. We're going to go ahead and tack it in place, and we're going to join the back of the car to the front of the car and fill a little bit around the notch, and be done with the floors in this car.
Finally got the body in the 46 Ford Coupe in good enough shape. So now John can make the new door panels.
All right, I've got all my pieces made, got them together. So the next thing I'm gonna do is actually get in the car. We wanna start getting them in place and getting it laid out and getting all the structure there. Once that's all in place, we'll start mudding it together. We're gonna do it in the car. That way you can see the door has a little bit of a curve to it. So if we body work this in place, it's gonna help hold that curve. That way the panel won't flex and go flat. We can go body work it over on the table and get it finished up over in the shop. So this is our insert, and what we're going to do, take this TIG rod and I'm going to bend it around my insert just to create some body insert, and I'm going to scribe it out and just creating some layout lines so I know where to put my rods at. I'm going to use my insert as my jig to bend it. Alright. That's going to be our layout right there. Everything's got a good line to it, so grab some glue, lock these down. Bill wants to keep the feel and style of an old hot rod, just to keep it nice and clean and give it some elegant touch to it without going too far overboard.
It's kind of got that 50s diner look. We should be in roller skates and doing this. Just roll around.
All right, so we'll let that do its thing. Once it's dry, we'll start with the body work. Time to sling a little mud. Just gonna use our wire as our guide. Get a nice contour in here. Now we're just taking our paper and sanding our contour into this. What I'm doing is I'm only putting the bevel on one side of the wire. That way it just kind of steps up and down. It looks like layers in the panel. All right, so we got everything body worked in. Lines are nice and straight. Everything looks good. These two inserts are going to have the accent color on them, with this panel being wrapped in the base color of the car, and it fits right into the door. Magic. So on the 450, we're going to go air on the rear and coilovers in the front. With that kind of setup, the rear airbags will be extra strong and be able to handle whatever we want to haul. While the coilovers in the front give us just that different look for this go-around.
So first thing is go ahead and start putting the coilovers in is making them mount right here. This is going to be the base of the coilover right here. Then we'll bring it all the way up. I'm going to make a nice little radius across here, a couple bends, and this is where I'll attach the top of my coilover. So first thing is go ahead and get started making those mounts. Some people might buckle under the pressure of, you know, building some custom, especially some custom for Bill Carlton, because, you know, Bill Carlton, he's been doing this for a long time. Me, I've worked side by side with Bill for years. I built them all the same. Safety first, you know, quality. Everything has to be strong, sturdy, and built to last. So, you know, that's why I'm there, because not only will we be hauling a lot of weight, I mean, it's a reflection of us, the shop, and I'm building it, so I want to do the best to my ability. That's the bottom wrapped up. Now go ahead and move on to the top. I like the way it looks now.
You know, Jamie did a real good job getting our top loop in and our bottom coilover bracket, which is going to be a little different from what we normally do. You know, normally it's coilovers front and back, or bags front and back. This was a little different. I want coilovers on the front just because I want to do a different look this year. But, you know, I'm going to be hauling a lot of weight. We're all going to be hauling a lot of weight. This is going to be pretty much, you know, a shop truck. So we definitely can't haul a lot of weight with coilovers. So we're going to do bags on the back, coilovers in the front, just kind of mix it up a little bit. The thing I'm trying to do now, the challenge is we got a bunch of tube work in the back for the bags that come down to the bag. Now this is just total opposite, where the coilover is going to be mounted up high, so all the pipe work has to go up in the front and all down in the back. So we're going to try to do our best. Man, that's what it needs, is some three-dimensional more.
Yeah, bring it out. Definitely give it that style we're looking for.
So let's bend this same radius, probably right about here.
All right, I guess we can start bending.
That'll work. Just looking at it, it looks like some bent pipes. We just cut the ends off, put up there, but that's definitely not the case. It is very labor intensive to notch, bevel, cut, grind, do that 20 times in some cases just to make the pipe fit just right. And once you weld over it, it just looks super easy then, but it's definitely not that easy. See, it looks like somebody looking through binoculars.
I don't know what it looks like. I like the way it looks. It looks good. Nice.
You know, I got a call from Robert saying the F450 trailer's ready for pickup. You know, it's usually midday. I'm that customer, and I'm excited. Robert, what's happening, man?
How you doing, man?
Man,
doing all right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You ready to pick that thing up?
I'm definitely ready to check it out, and I'm ready to put it to work.
We're all excited about this trailer. This is the biggest thing we've ever built here. So we can't wait to see what you're going to load on it.
Let's go check it out.
Let's go check it out. Man, I think you're going to be excited about this. This thing is a beast.
Man!
All right, what do you think about this? This is what we talked about.
Man! This is exactly what I need. This is badass.
This is not like anything we've ever built before.
This is really going to help me and the shop out. You can't haul the cars that we have on a normal trailer. It has to be custom built like this.
Check out this hitch that we put on the front of it. 1 inch thick plate.
What?
No ball. We're going to put a penalty on the front of this.
What? I've never had one of those like that. It's crazy looking.
For the kind of weight that you're hauling, you got to have it. We've got multiple adjustment holes where we can raise it up to the height that you need with that big truck.
No matter if it's high, low, whatever weight you got on it,
we'll be able to raise it. We've got hydraulic that you're going to put on this thing. You're not going to have any issues as far as raising this thing up and down.
I hate trying to. I can't.
You will never have that issue again, and it will pick up anything that you've got on there. This will handle it.
Man, this is cool. This is cool.
We have changed out all of the axles. You have got 15,000 pounds on each axle.
What?
17 5-wheel and tire assemblies. You are not going to have an issue on this.
This is way more than I was thinking in my head. I'm impressed.
Good. That's what we do. Look at the length of this. 40 foot.
Super long.
40 foot, dove on the end for easy loading.
We can haul 2 cars on this, no matter what they are. I want to be able to go anywhere I want to go and haul anything I want to on it.
This will handle it.
Thank you.
Hey, this is the first for us. I think you'll enjoy it.
Thank you, man. I knew you were going to hook me up.
Once you get it hooked up, put the trucks on it, send some pictures. I can't wait to see it.
I'm going to do that, man. Thank you, Robert. You know, the 21 F450 is going to perform double duties for us. It needs to haul our show trucks to car shows while looking good doing it. You know, we got the lower bag mounts done. We got the upper bag mounts all tied in. You know, it isn't as strong as we need. So it's all about adding a lot more bars, a lot more strength, and a lot more style. You know, the key to making it super strong is the intersections of all the piping, all the joints where they intersect with one another. And one transfers the weight down to another joint, transfers the weight to somewhere else. So just like kind of like a truss system where you have the little zigzags and they all intersect at certain points. And that's basically what we're building here on the suspension itself, is using the pipes not only for style, but it's also meant to be super, super strong. You know, in a process like this, you know, there comes a time where you know it's done, it feels right, looks right. That's exactly what this does. Now it's time to blow it apart and get it off to powder coat. The 46 Coupe is one of those really iconic cars. So we're going to add modern features and still keep that custom classic design. So John is hiding the subwoofer in a fully custom built suitcase.
One of the things we have to do with this 46 Ford is we want to make sure that this thing still has that classy look, that classy feel to it. So how to do it is going to be to disguise it. So I've already built the subwoofer enclosure to look just like a suitcase. Things got all the detail sanding done, looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with wrapping the center of this. Got to get down into the groove where it looks like it separates, and then we'll work it up into each groove, top and bottom, and then from there, it'll be looking like a suitcase. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to take our vinyl here, get it all glued up. All right, set that to the side, and glue up the enclosure. I'll use a paintbrush and get the glue all the way down in the crack. That way when I wrap it, it'll hold the vinyl in place. And boom goes the dynamite. All right, here we go. It's a moment of truth. Stick it and start wrapping. Just want to start by working this down into this groove here. Give a little stretch around that corner. Working around these corners is very difficult. You want to make sure that you work down into the bottom of this corner, because if you just stretch it across it and go around it, you won't be able to get down into the bottom and we'll lose this detail. Quite an adventure to get around this thing and get this thing wrapped, but in the end, I think it's going to be well worth it. It looks like a piece of luggage from the 1940s instead of a subwoofer from the 2000s. That is our suitcase. Let's get some belts on it. So this is just a piece of welt cord. We'll be taking this, wrapping it with our vinyl, and this is what gets tucked down into the groove around the suitcase. This is just going to help to mimic the seam on the suitcase where the tops and the edges come together. It's just a little creative detail in here. I'm going to trim it down so it's narrow enough, and we'll just wrap it around the box like a glove. Last thing to go on. Now, we'll put our woofer in it. All right. And no one's going to ever know that there's a speaker in this thing. This thing turned out great. Almost better than I imagined it, so get it in the car.
Like any big job, the 46 Coupe has a big checklist for all the stuff we got to get done. And this one is a really long list. While John and his team are making the custom interior, we're finishing up the front suspension. You know, Old Blue Thunder's really come together. We got the frame done, got the body, getting busy, so how to build everything. So the next step, putting the wheel and tire underneath with the spindle, mocking up the lower control arms. Then we're really rolling with it, and we can get this thing done. I'm gonna call that ride height. It's good. It's the perfect distance this way, because we're gonna get a little bit of negative camber when we go up, so that'll clear even more and more, you know, with the radius. We'll see the angle of the lower ball joint real quick.
Needs to go forward about an inch, 3/4 inch.
You know, there's a lot of variables when it comes to setting something like this up. There's no, this is wrong, this are right. You got to rely on the experience each and every single time, build upon the last experience. So that's where we're at right now, is the latest and greatest doing what we do. While the frame just needing a little bit of final welding and the cab in the body shop, I can finally see the end on this build. Next up, the last bits of metalwork. Full interior, rolling chassis, paint, and we'll be able to surprise Ryan's dad with Blue Thunder looking a whole lot better than it did sitting in his garage. Sure, there's a couple of old timers that worked on this car when it was new. They had no... With the 450 being so high up, I want to add some lights. So George is going to light this thing up.
So today we're going to be installing 20 rock lights. It's going to light up the whole undercarriage. Our focus is to light up, all the suspension work, everything that's, custom made. We're going to, light up the whole rear end, the whole front axle. So it's a real meticulous job, but once it's all done, it really sets the car off at night. So like on these, usually what we have to do before we start drilling is we have to look underneath the hood, because on these newer models, they have so much electronics, they have everything that they jam up under the hood, that you have to be careful, because if you start drilling, you can easily, drill through like an ECM or a fuse box or something. Perfect example, there's a big wiring harness right here, and we could easily hit this, so that's pretty much why you want to be careful when you want to pull these out, or always see before you start drilling. Now that I got the holes in the fender wells, it's time to start running some wire. The tough challenge on it, it's going to be just trying to link everything up together, making sure that everything is in line. And not only does it have to work right, it has to look good underneath the truck, because this is a jacked up truck, and when people look underneath it, you don't want to see wires hanging or, things right underneath the motor. You want it to look nice and neat for putting these lights. They're 2,000 lumen, and they have 3 little LEDs in them. So, you always want to put them in the right space. That way we don't cast any shadows or anything like that. They're right in the perfect place to show the perfect lighting on it. Cool, I got these all wired in. Now time to plug them up and see if they work. 2 down, 18 to go.
I can't stand all that chrome on the new 450 shop truck. So we're going to pull it all off, and Edgar and the team are going to paint it all glossy black to match the rest of the truck.
We got this grill for Bill's F450. What he wants to do is black it out. So what I got to do, pretty much tear it apart, scuff it, prep it, and turn it into gloss black. Pretty much what I'm mixing up is some sealer that's specialized for chrome, because usually when most people paint chrome, eventually like 2 months or so later it starts flaking off. So this is the sealer that I'm using, which is black. It's gonna give me an advantage of when I throw my coat, which is the base coat. It gives faster coverage, and it'll be gloss black by the end of the day. Done deal, baby.
So at a young age, I got into cars. All through high school, had custom cars, and kind of grew from a hobby to a full-time career. My favorite part about building the cars and why I do what I do is I like to be able to show what I do with my hands and create something from nothing. For me as a builder, I've always been on the forefront of all new technology, new builds, new custom ideas. I'm a real technological person, so I've been able to bring the 21st century into a lot of hot rod builds, which is kind of where the industry is going now. Extensive has always been years ahead of the game. Stuff that they're doing now, people are not going to be doing for 5 more years, and to be here to kind of bring, ideas I have and the skills I have to team up with what they already do and all the extravagant builds they do is just going to kill it. I always like doing different kinds of stuff. I don't like to be like the cookie cutter kind of guy where you're doing the same car over and over, repetitive stuff. One thing about being extensive, you never know what's going to come through the door next. You look at it and go, how are we going to do that? And next thing you know, it's just, wow, there it is.
It's all coming together on the F450. We're going to add 28-inch wheels and a rolling bed cover. I love seeing projects come together. New shop truck, new shop trailer, trailer loaded, it's impressive. As good as the 450 looks, it's got to be built to perform. We have a car show we're going to, so we're going to load it up with about 20,000 pounds. So we're not wasting any time putting the shop truck to work. Last little bit, huh?
Oh, yeah.
I know it's your first show with us, man. You got to be excited.
I am, dude. I am. I love the shows.
Hey, it's a lot of work, but you have a good time, too.
It's a lot of stuff.
You ready to roll, man? Last little bit.
Everything else is pretty much loaded up.
Man, Timmy's finishing up right now with the trucks. He got it all loaded up. This is the last thing. We can roll.
It's ready to go?
Yeah. Here, I'll grab this one.
All right, let's go see it. I'll get this.
Come on, man.
Oh, man. That is way bigger than I thought you guys were going to build it.
A little bit higher than we originally anticipated.
For sure.
Well, it's got to look good, too.
Oh, it definitely does. Me being in the office, I don't get to see a whole lot of the builds until they're done. But seeing this thing roll out, you know, as a whole is just, it's mind-blowing.
Let's go check it out.
All right.
Go load up.
That's a hauler. Right? That is serious.
Do you expect anything less than Bill to put a brand new truck on the lift?
That's very true.
You know, it's a little bit higher than I was originally going to do. We just, you know, keep pushing the button, kind of
look better as it got bigger.
Get it on the lift.
Just a little higher when you wanted it.
It's a perfect height.
It's awesome.
You know, I know at first I said I wanted just a little lift, little tires, but seeing the truck now, the height it is, the huge lift we put on it, the huge 4-link, all blacked out with big wheels and tires, this couldn't represent extensive any better.
The wheels on this thing are awesome. That set it off right there.
28-inch TISs, all black.
That's a monster. But it fits it.
Perfect.
Yes. And the 4-link under there is just massive.
Yeah, you was wondering why I needed that many 1-inch FK Heims, right?
Yeah. Now I see why they're all there.
Right. I mean, that's a tremendous amount of weight behind stopping and starting. So each one of those points were just critical. It's pretty cool, too. I wanted to mix it up a little bit and put coilovers in the front. And, of course, we had to have the airbags in the back. To haul weight like this, there's no way you could haul this much tonnage with coilovers in the test,
much less 2 trucks on this trailer. So this truck's going to be a workhorse that we're going to use. I mean, it's going to be used.
We had to make it look cool, too. We had to have the tube work coming all down and just black it all out.
Bill could not have any chrome. Everything blacked out.
And spider wraps come in, wrap the bars, wrap the shocks, you know, the inner fender wells. You know, it's still black, but it's little twist. Yeah.
And you know how shows go, we can't leave all the products there. So we put a bed cover and a pull out. There's a deck system in the bed, you pull out and everything goes in there, and then the cover covers everything.
Yeah, so we can lock it up, put all our straps up, put all our equipment up. Very cool.
You guys ready to roll? That's all done.
Everything's strapped, that's strapped, trailer's hooked up. Put these in, we can roll.
Let's go for a test drive.
Let's go.
I'm driving.
Shotgun.
Show season starting off, and I'm excited. You know, it used to be when I roll into a car show, you want to get that trophy. You know, now how you roll into the car show is way more impressive than any trophy you go home with, in my opinion. You know, rolling up in the new shop truck, new trailer, with the trailer fully loaded, that's what a car show is all about to me. Just one more example of us building cool stuff and then showing how we do it all around the country. Axles, thinking a Hellcat engine.
Oh, man.
We're going to split this truck down the middle, not only front to back, but side to side also. Cut it in 4s.
I'm going to have to put all that structure back in.
This is going to handle like a race car.
Parts of this is going to be wider than this truck.
This 1998 AMG G-Wagon.
We got it all the way here from Russia.
They definitely missed the mark on this one.
Just start fresh.
Grab a grinder and a welder and get after it.
This is like Christmas.
The seats actually appear to be floating.
That's cool.
I want to put Texas on the map.
Oh, man, I got a brain freeze.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
in the parking lot, that thing is super clean. You know, not too many projects roll in the shop that look this good. What's up, fellas?
How you doing?
Oh, Willys, huh?
60 Willys, yeah.
Nice. First Jeep. You know, the Willys Jeep pickup looks more like a standard Jeep design, but with a longer wheelbase and bed. There was only a couple 100,000 of these ever made. Where'd you find this thing? Did you build it yourself? Or?
No, come from the northern North Dakota.
This little drive for you, huh?
Yeah.
About 1,200 miles.
You want us to do something to this thing? It looks perfect.
It's been always dream when I've retired to have a custom vehicle, something I can show for my hard work.
You're in the right spot.
There you go. When I come back to get the truck, I'm going to take a few weeks off. I'm going to show it at car shows, and I'm going to sit there and I'm going to polish that baby.
Yeah, he'll probably polish it so much he'll rub the clear coat off. It's crazy.
You couldn't find a nicer one to tear up?
I'm sorry.
Man, there's going to be some Willys guys just, ooh.
That's all right.
We're both going to be getting some hate mail on this one.
Yeah, when you're done, though, they'll want one.
Yeah.
So what's your overall dream for this thing?
This thing looks like a Matchbox car. I want it to look like a powerful bulldog, a little wider in stance.
Stance is everything. You just want people to get out of your way. You just want this thing to look mean just sitting there. You know, something like this, we can take this car and cut it all the way down the middle and give you some more room in the cab also, and just widen the whole body. And then let's give you some more leg room by cutting the cab again and making it longer too.
Now you're talking, Bill.
Yeah. Achieving something like that, it just is no small feat. You know, that requires a lot of hours and a lot of skilled labor.
That's what we're looking for.
Y'all can kick back and hang out and have a little bit of space in between you when you guys are cruising around. Right. Yeah. You know, not that it matters, but let's look under the hood, see what you got.
There she is, Bill. Straight 6.
Oh, man. Super Hurricane, huh?
Yeah.
What kind of horsepower this thing got?
105.
105. Yeah, that's definitely no Hurricane.
No, we need to pump those numbers up.
My lawnmower's got as much horsepower as that got.
What do you think about putting a Hellcat engine in this thing?
Great. Fantastic. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the horsepower.
We on the same page on that one.
We're on the same page,
yeah.
Horsepower.
Let's check out the back of this thing. It's definitely 1960, fully custom. Nothing in here is going to work. Let's just rip out everything underneath this thing and inside this thing and just start 100% fresh.
What do you think about that,
Yeah,
man?
I think it's a great idea.
As far as the bed, we can definitely create a bed on this thing that looks more modern and fits the body of this thing. You know, I'm really getting excited about this. I mean, this is definitely going to be one of a kind.
That's what we want.
That's what we're looking for.
You know, he's been working his whole life, never had a custom car. He's retired now. He wants a custom. That's exactly what he's going to get.
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
You guys ready to go make it official?
I'm ready to go make it official.
Let's do it. This 1960 Jeep Willys is really, really nice, in good shape, good running truck. But this isn't our first time taking a good-looking vehicle and chopping it all up. You know, sometimes we get people with crazy ideas, and this Willys is one of them. This thing could be in a museum. I know the Willys people are just going to cringe when they see us tearing this truck apart. Million challenges to this project. Because this guy wants this truck longer and wide front to back, but side to side also. That's just not cutting the cab up and making the cab bigger. Everywhere you look on it, every quarter inch on this vehicle right here is going to be touched, customized in some way, to the engine, to the axles, to the bed, tail lights, bumpers. Everything is going to be modified on this. That's going to push everyone's skill to the max. A job doesn't come bigger than this right here, but it's here. We're going to take it on, and we're going to create something that nobody's seen before. We're going to create something just totally unique and something really, really cool, and give the customer exactly what they want at the end of the day.
Fellas, look out going on.
1960 Jeep Willys.
Why do we have this really good-looking truck?
What are we about to do to it?
We're about to have some fun. You know, we're all going to be tested on this one right here. The owner of this this truck, he wants that bulldog look. He wants something low and just mean looking. Okay? We're going to split this truck down the middle. Oh, so we're not only going to do that, we're going to split it down the middle here too and make the cab wider. Cut it in fours.
I'm going to quarter it.
Oh, man. It's going to look like a birthday cake all cut up after we're done with this. That's all. I mean, you're looking at get off easy on this project. This is why we get up and go to work, right?
You're right. You are right.
Speaking of, let me get up. Let's go do that. Work.
First things first, Tim and John are going to tear it down. We can't be sure what parts we may need till after the cutting. So we'll be saving as many of the parts and pieces we can for later.
Oh, check that out. Automatic hood prop.
That's why the engineers got paid big dollars in a day.
They get a whole $1.50 extra.
Just like any car in the 60s, hadn't been taken apart in a while, the bolts are probably rusted together.
Go ahead.
You know, we've been doing this long enough that the Jeep could look really nice on the outside. But as soon as we get tearing into this paint, it could be really torn up. Get all of this taken out, put it all in a crate, send it to sandblast. So we just rolled a cart underneath it. We're gonna make some stands for the cart. You only knew how many cars and trucks have been on this cart. A lot. Alright, now we got it on the cart. Now we can roll it back this way. We'll pull all the chrome off, pull all the windows out, pull everything out of the interior. You know, this is just one more fact how much simpler it was back in the day. Nowadays, if you took the dash out, you'd have 500 feet of wiring and sensors and all that stuff. This is as simple as it gets, but as you can see, 60 years later, it's still functioning and still works. Now we have all the windows out, all the trim off. Now this thing's ready to get blasted. Next time we see it, it'll be fresh metal to metal. We can do all our metal work without any body work, any body filler, any surprises.
Willie Jeep pickup is back from blast. You definitely want the steel to be as good a shape as possible before you cut it. And it looks better than I hoped.
This thing's in really good shape, man. A little bit damaged, but that's nothing for the age of it. I'd like to look this good when I'm 60, but I look worse than that now.
When you even stay in 1,000 ways, it could go wrong. You know, there's only a few people I can trust with that level of metal work. Bob Grant is definitely at the top of that list.
Robert, what's up, man? Haven't seen you in a while.
How you doing? It's been way too long, man.
Way too long, man. So what you got planned for me?
The owner wants just that bulldog look when he's coming down the road at you.
Okay.
And that's what this isn't, right?
It's like your grandpa's old farm truck.
Right, exactly. What I want to do with this is just cut it down the middle and make it wider. Yeah. If we're going to do that, we might as well cut it down the back also and give him a little bit more foot room.
Damn.
Right.
Both ways?
Right.
Holy crap. That's a lot of work.
It's a little bit nothing for you, man. Bob Grant. If there's anybody I'm going to call in to do some badass metal work, it's
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
I've worked with him before and hung out with him at numerous car shows. Just an awesome dude. So what kind of measurements you got for me? Something radical?
You know, something like this, I'm thinking probably 8 inches in the back and maybe, 6 in the front, so it doesn't look so exaggerated.
Oh yeah, it don't look like you did it.
I think that's the true definition of custom is you know something's different, but you don't really know what it is.
We'll have it done in a day or two, huh?
Right. I got you all set up. I got,
Okay.
You ready? I'm ready.
Yep, I'll break some. Some reference points to run my tape lines because the tape works really good. It makes nice straight lines if you stretch it, and it's easier than using a ruler on the whole damn thing. Every tape line we see here is going to be somewhere where we're doing a cut. You got to kind of eyeball it to get your lines nice and straight. But if we keep the line really straight, it'll be easy to build off of. This grill area, we're actually gonna cut it out right here. Cut out this whole piece, and we're gonna make a new one. Then we're gonna stand back and look at it, put the headlight where it looks the best, side to side. And it won't look like we did any work to it, it'll just look normal.
What up, man?
What's up, bro?
What up, buddy? What up, fellas?
Man, got you one from Moscow. That's a fixin'.
Crazy. You know, getting a G-Wagon in the shop to work on is pretty cool, but getting a G-Wagon from halfway across the world, that's really cool.
Man, this is our first G-Wagon. I mean, this isn't something that normally comes down Sunny Drive for us to tackle. Interior, right?
Yeah, I talked to him. I said, man, there's probably a couple shops, you know, between me and you that would probably knock that out really well, and he wasn't having it. He said, no, if the Extensive's going to do it, I'm going to put it on a boat, I'm going to send it to you.
We must be doing something right.
That's for sure.
Max, what year is this?
98 AMG G-Wagon.
You never know what year these are. I mean, they pretty much all look the same, different headlights and tail lights, basically.
Yeah, they're still big squares.
Yeah. You know, I don't know what it is about the G-Wagon. Either you love it or hate it. It's an iconic body style.
The interior's stock or what?
No, it's not stock. It's been done.
Ooh. Got some diamonds.
Yes, sir. A lot of them.
Diamond stitch been out for a minute.
10, 15, so odd years ago.
In red and black. We can't be having that. Man, the door panels are just shot. I think that's about the cheapest carpets you can get right there.
Yeah.
You know, it's always interesting to see different people's takes on customization. 20 plus years ago, it was probably cool, but not anymore.
We're going to rip every bit of that totally out and just start fresh.
Make something real cool.
Exactly.
You know, the G-Wagon is an iconic luxury car. So we're going to do everything we can, bring back that style and make something totally custom and really cool.
You know what? He's in the right spot, though. Whatever John comes up with is going to be the coolest G-Wagon in Russia.
Oh, by far.
How do you say get busy in Russian?
Hurry up. I don't know. That's not me.
Man, it might sound strange. All the cars, all the trucks we built over the years, this is our first G-Wagon, so I'm pretty excited to get it in and put our spin on it. There's many ways to customize a car, and interior especially. Some are just fads. Some last the test of time. In this case, it definitely hasn't. I mean, it's old, run down, shows its age. It's time for an upgrade. You know, Mercedes brand is well respected all over the world for the high-end finishes. And that's exactly the standard we want to keep up. It's something to make it look current and also stand the test of time.
Oops. I swear I didn't break it.
Doesn't even matter. I mean, look at it. The whole truck's broken.
It's true. Well, they definitely missed the mark on this one.
Right. Mercedes, world renowned for perfection, right?
Right.
That's exactly what we don't have.
Especially the AMGs. They're hand built. These are first, second, third generation craftsmen. And this looks like they might have had about 3 or 4 years of practice.
Right. So I want all this totally ripped out and just start fresh.
Okay.
Of course, new seats,
yes.
New carpet, new headliner, you know, all 5 door panels. Okay. Everything 100% brand new. Let's make this thing cool. You know, the biggest challenge on this is just making it custom and still making it have that elegant feel.
Neutral colors or colors?
The right tone is going to be even more important in a vehicle like this for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm thinking, you know, a black car, probably just a deep brown.
Keep with the natural neutral colors. Okay.
You know, with the right stitching, right accents are going to look really classy.
Okay, well, I got one other question, though. Jump seats in the back. What are you thinking about on those?
The junk seats.
Junk seats, okay. Yeah. I know what that means.
Yeah, we got a little more room for audio in it, a little more sound in it.
Sounds like I have a mission.
A big one. Let's make this worthy of coming halfway around the world.
Hell yeah.
Hey, that's a cool ride.
Pretty neat, huh?
Yeah.
We got it all the way here from Russia. They put this thing on a boat and sent it to us just for interior.
Okay. That's cool.
It's in pretty rough shape. Got a little bit of a chore ahead of us.
Yeah? What are we doing to it?
I say we start by tearing it apart. Tear the dash apart, get the seats out of it, and go from there. No way. Check that out.
Is that what I think it is?
It is.
That's the center cap. It's a wheel.
I don't even know what the purpose of it was. So until we take it all apart and tear into it, we really don't have 100% idea of the truck over time, and try to put some thought into why they did what they did, but it really doesn't matter. What's going on up there? This used to be a silver truck with a sunroof.
Oh, big.
So now the fun part. Let's get creative.
Awesome.
It's not every day we get a truck shipped in from around the world on Sunny Drive. Now that we have this 1998 AMG G-Wagon, John and Jen can get ready on building that one-off interior that's worth the trip.
Looking at this thing, I got a really cool idea. I think we're going to get rid of these risers. It's just a big ugly box with a door on it. We don't like that, so we're going to throw this away and make new brackets that'll have the seats actually appear to be floating in the car. So what we're going to do to make the seats float is we're going to use some 2x2 square tubing that'll sit on top of the transmission hump and float out across each side, so the seats will sit on top of that. So when you look underneath it, it's just solid open space, and it's going to look really cool. Floating the seats is cool, but I'm thinking we should take it to another level and float the subwoofers too. I'm actually going to take the woofer enclosure and attach it to the seat so it'll move with the seats. Be really good for the truck. Nice tight bass response. Floating subwoofer enclosure is cool, but this alone is kind of boring, so we don't do things like that around here, so we're going to spice this thing up a little bit. I'm just practicing making sawdust. I started when I was 17 years old. My first job was in a stereo shop. Left school early every day and went to stereo shop and went to work. So get a dream, don't give up. Still remember the comment my mother made to me one day. She told me, John, you can't do that. Well, why not? You can't compete with those guys. No, I am those guys.
Right, exactly. Exactly what you just said. Okay. Here we go. All right, so John is gonna work the resin, and I got our glass pieces already pre-cut. I'm gonna play nurse to his doctor and start handing him pieces as we go.
And done. Well, everything's set, ready to go. Got it all wet out. Looks great, so now she gets to body work it.
Joy!
We got a lot of floor to cover in this 98 G-Wagon, and I know I don't want to use carpet. So I got looking on the interwebs, found this really cool place called Clark's. Just looking for a little bit of inspiration around here. Hey there, I'm looking for Christine. Awesome.
Hello.
Hey, Christine, nice to finally meet you. I'm John.
Nice to meet you, John.
We got this really cool truck that someone sent us from Russia.
That's amazing.
And we're making a wood floor in this truck, so it ought to be just wild. So you're the wood expert. I figured I'd come by and check it out and see what you had.
All right, well, let's go take a look.
All right, let's see what it is. Wow.
Wow, look at all this. This is awesome.
You know, we don't normally get calls for wood for vehicles, but we do have over 100 different species to choose from.
That's really cool.
We've also got some slabs over here. They're all the rage right now.
That walnut is beautiful. I can go broke here. You know, for an interior guy that loves woodwork, so much to choose from, just want to put it all in my pocket and take it home.
You ever seen Purple Heart?
Oh, that's one of my favorites. Looks like it's got a nice curl to it, too.
Yes, it does.
Wow. I was kind of thinking maybe we can find something a little bit thinner to be able to work out.
You want to check out our veneers?
Oh, I'd love to see
we have a great line of veneers over here.
Sounds perfect. Let's check it out.
A veneer is a very, very thin sheet of lumber. It's actually cut from a wood log. Anytime you're going to buy a piece of veneer, it's going to be the only one like that.
Oh, wow, look at that. That is really nice. Here you can see where it book matches together and they've laid it out. Basically, it's where they slice it off the tree.
I actually have some over here. You can get about 25 sheets of these in a 3/4 inch board.
That takes a big razor blade.
Yes, it does. Veneer is a great way to get the most use out of a beautiful piece of wood, especially if it's highly figured.
You know, thinking about it, I do believe veneer is the way we need to go. The thickness to be able to fit with everything. We can glue it down to our aluminum substrate and it'll work out perfect. Man, this is really, really nice. I'm almost thinking that burl may be the way we need to go with on the floor of this truck. It's almost a growth off the side of a tree. It's not into the grain or anything. So when they cut this and shave it down and roll it out and lay it down, there's no discernible grain pattern to this per se.
That's my favorite.
Okay. Heck yeah, let's check that out. Oh, that's what I'm talking about right there. Look at that. Nice figure, good book match, darker color to it. I definitely think this will be the one that we use, so.
You sure?
Yep, that's the one.
Okay, let's get you wrapped up.
Okay, it's all marked out. Just got to start cutting.
You know, there's an old saying, measure twice, cut once. You know, that's especially true when you're quartering a near-perfect 1960s Jeep Willys. You know, Bob's done a great job prepping it, but now is the moment of truth. You know, his first cut's going to be right down the middle.
It's a little bit more difficult because the way Bill set it up, we can't just, add 8 inches down the whole thing. It's got to turn into 6 inches by the time it gets to the front here. So when I started out, I just wanted to work like at a custom car shop. I was always buying magazines, building models, tearing apart bikes. I worked at a machine shop, worked at pretty much anywhere I needed to learn the skill that I needed. One of the tough parts about this job is going to be the roof, because as soon as you cut it, I'll cut across here with the cutoff wheel, and then I'll cut from the bottom here. This is the second time I've done a job like this. It isn't something people normally do. It's just so time consuming and involved. But me and Bill got a pretty good handle on it.
The 1960 Jeep Willys is cut in half. Bob can get to cutting it side to side. To save a headache later, he'll be cutting around the door jambs. So we'll need to replace as little metal as possible.
Okay, now that we got the wider, we're going to work on the longer. So the cut, I decided to put it here because that's the high part of the crown. And that's the easiest to fill in. Because if we filled it back here, we'd have to make kind of a sloped piece. But here we can just use a flat piece of metal and then just hammer it to shape. When we do the roof on this, that's going to be probably the toughest part. It gets really floppy when you cut it in quarters like that. There's no supports. Yeah, that's what you got to watch out for. You'll get a piece in your eyeglasses. So you got to be really careful when you're doing that. A lot of people start out wrong. There's certain ways and techniques you got to do it so it turns out right in the end. You don't want to build yourself into a hole. We also got to cut the inside, and that's going to be a little bit trickier because we got to miss a bunch of stuff. piece and it's like kind of in the way. I don't think it's off that much, so I'm trying to fit it in there. See, there we go. We're gonna have to cut through multiple layers, so I'm gonna have to do that with a really long Sawzall blade. Hell yeah. Success. Now I know how to do the other side. When you cut a car into 4 pieces, everything doesn't line up perfect, because the car isn't a box. It's got multiple curves, compound curves. It's just a lot of things to figure out. What we did is we cut the back of the cab off, so we had to cut through all this structure and everything. And when we rebuild it, we're gonna have to put all that structure back in. So it's more than just looking cosmetic. We gotta actually engineer it back into it.
I love the direction we're going on this custom interior on this 98 G-Wagon. Wood floors, floating seats, and now for a custom console.
We're going to go ahead and draw up the center console. We've copied and pasted the same object a couple of times, and that's how we're going to get our stack. And we're going to laminate those together to build up our height. Traditionally, John would probably fabricate this using hand tools and run around the shop. But the idea is we're going to let the technology do the work for us so that it frees us up to go and do some of those other hands-on fabrication techniques we like to do. This is super easy for me to do. This is totally in my wheelhouse. It comes from doing trade shows and scale models for over 20 years.
Cool. See ya.
So we're hanging up right here.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna massage the first 2 so that we get over this build out.
We'll just pull this out, flush trim it to the hole.
Yep.
And be done. It's the parts that the robot can't do. I mean, I guess it could, but I'm gonna outrun it. It looks pretty good. So what I'm gonna do now is just take all the parts that the CNC made and get them all glued together, get them stacked up where they need to be so we can start body working them, get them shaped in. That's the gist of it. It's gonna work. All right, so we've got our stacked pieces together and ready to go. What we'll do is we're gonna take and make a backside that floats above the rear, out to behind the seats, and everything just kind of be nice and open back here. So I'm gonna make my box. So that's gonna be the passenger side of the console. So now it's just a matter of making a couple more pieces for the floating look.
You're building a box.
This is my science fair project. I got this set up on stilts so I get it exactly where I want it. I can make both sides the same. Helps bring everything together nice and square. So it's like Legos. Put them all together and we'll get them stuck in here, start glassing it up, body working. This thing's gonna look real cool. The 1960s Willys Jeep is officially in 4 pieces. But before we can weld it back together, Bob's bracing it together to add structure back into it. Then we can weld it all back together, make something totally different, something that's never been made before.
This is gonna space out the back of the cab, and then we're gonna tack this to the cab. So what we got here is a 6-inch spacer, so you don't have to hold up a tape measure all the time. Okay, now that we got these all braced up, we're ready for the inner structure. We're just getting it 8 inches all the way down the whole center right now. Now what I'll do is I'm gonna match this curve to the roof, and it should hold a nice flow. We can make our new piece right here. I'm going to do another one of these right here, and that'll hold the rest of the roof in place.
Perfect. On a build this complicated, everything comes down to what we do as we build it back up. Everything flows off this moment. The strength and rigidity we create now is going to pay off later. That's why a project this size takes months and months. All the little choices now have a huge impact. You know, once this hits the road, it's got to be perfect. And it will be. I got something.
Is this what I think it is?
Yes, it is what you said. We'll sit that out right there.
This is like Christmas.
Yeah, I splurged a little bit.
Wow.
Because all the wear and tear, it's not every day we make the floor out of wood. So we're going to make the burl wood veneer for the 98 G-Wagon floor extra tough and stiff by gluing it to an aluminum sheet. And then we're going to stain it. And what we're doing is a veneer to line it up. If we cut it perfect and then try to lay it, we'll never get it laid on there right. So even if we were to screw this thing up and go to try to get another one,
right,
it wouldn't match. So, one shot. And that was the easy part. Don't turn it back now. We'll roll this out, make sure we don't get any bubbles. That's that. I'm gonna grab the router and get this thing trimmed out.
Holy cow. The router bit he's got in here, the shank is too long to be able to get everything lined up correctly. So what John's doing is he's making another router surface to beef this up. That's a cool trick, man.
Do you know I got magic tricks up in this place?
I didn't see that coming.
This piece is ready to go. All we gotta do now is get Lewis to stain it. Once it's stained up, it's ready to go back in the truck.
Alright, so John picked out this really nice burl walnut veneer. What we're going to do first is we're going to get it sanded in preparation for stain. And that way when we put the stain, it won't show. This is going to be a really natural colored stain just to highlight the natural beauty of that burl walnut. What I really like about this stain is I have more time to work with it, so I can take my time and kind of rub all this in really well and make sure everything is absorbing properly. So whenever I apply stain, I like to just go in a circular motion that kind of ensures that everything's nice and uniform across the substrate. And then what we'll do is we'll take our clean rag and we'll start to wipe this off, and you'll really get a better idea of what this is going to look like once we have our clear coat on it. Since this is flooring, we want to make sure that it's well protected. We're going to have several coats of clear. Fill in all the grain, make sure no dust and dirt becomes an issue down the road. That clear really brought out the grain of the wood. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Now we just got to get it over to John.
Custom car sets you apart from everybody else. You want to be the average, boring guy. So I always have something custom, even if it's just my daily driver. They'll have rims or just its own look. And that's what I've based my whole life on, just making cars like that for everybody. This is one of those arts that might die off because not a lot of people can do it. It's hard to find people that want to learn to do this stuff. They say they do, but then when they start into it, they're like, well, that's way too hard. And they quit real easy. Hopefully a few young guys are interested in it and going to want to do this stuff. I like building cars. That's my hobby. That's my lifestyle. I don't think I'd ever do anything else.
In the custom game, you're never really done looking for improvement until it rolls out the door. You know, we were first thinking of neutral colors for the 98 G-Wagon, but with all the custom details that John's handmade, we're going to go bold with the Lamborghini orange leather. So, we got all my 597.11 pieces for the seats done, ready to go. All I gotta do now, sit here, sew them all together, and we'll have it. You know, when you're building custom things, you can build all day long. It comes to a point when you gotta know you've got enough, or you need that just one more little thing, and we need that one more little thing. Oh, yeah. Just one of those things when you're building and you can't stop yourself and you're creating, you just keep doing more and more and more. But this thing came all the way from Russia, so I guess we'll pull out all the stops. You know, it's been a long time coming, but this G-Wagon is finally done. The owner can't be here to pick it up in person, so I'm going to send it to the Port of Houston, where to get shipped all the way back to Russia. Everything looks perfect. I just want to look at it, you know, before it gets in the container, and when you look at it, you just, what's this? Oh, that's Slim.
What's up with it, Bill? What's going down,
How you doing, man?
What's up, John? What y'all working on, right? Me and my bro in the neighborhood. Trying to replace this bag, man. I busted.
Hey, that ain't one of ours, right?
No, it ain't nothing yours.
I know Slim and Raymond, you know, they're just coming up. They say for a part, but I know they're really snooping around, see what the latest and the greatest is.
What y'all working on, though? I see y'all got something going.
Let me
right in there. I need glasses right now, man. And what you done did to it?
Oh, G-Wagon, it's going halfway around the world, man.
Wow.
Going back to Russia.
Russia?
Yeah.
Oh, man, worldwide with it. Let me see. Every time we come over here, always something different. Lo and behold, man, it was a whole other creation coming out of here, man. Other Stenson bill.
Check this out.
Oh, man. Oh, man, look at him, man. Sick. Oh, man. Come on, man. This dude done put wood flows in the G-Wagon. Oh, man, I got a brain freeze. Look at that floating seats. Come on, bro.
We got rid of the box that the factory seat sat on.
Yeah.
Okay. And built brackets to hold the seats up in the air so it has that floating look. That way when you look in, it's nothing but wood floors front to back in this thing. So we didn't want anything getting in the way of it.
Bro, you gotta do this my Cadillac, man. We gotta do this.
Needed there.
That's right.
Crazy.
Color looks unbelievable.
Killer.
I mean, anybody walks up to it, that's going to get your attention. And once you have their attention, you're going to keep it with the floating seats, the wood, all the custom accents. You did badass.
Great job, man. Great job. Hey, what's up with the peanuts in the dough pounder?
Man, we had to have a design and texture, so we carried that pattern from the doors into everything to flow together.
What you done did to that center console? I see you got the big iPad screen in there.
Yeah, man, we just took and threw away basically all the old factory stock stuff, came up with our own idea and made something that's clean.
What y'all got going on in the back? I see the seats way back like a Maybach.
Yeah, man, we got you set up.
Oh, that's sick, man. I could never fit in a G-Wagon, but I see y'all finally did something for us tall folk, man.
Yeah, plenty of leg room in here.
And you wouldn't believe how much work goes into something like this to make it look this simple.
Ah, man, now you gotta get driven around in this, man.
Yeah, that's the only way to travel. We got one more surprise for you in the back, though.
What you got back there? Let's see, man. That's clean, man. That's clean. Y'all threw the subs in the back on the seat. Okay.
So that way, no matter where that seat's at, sub's not in the way.
Both of them can move. That's
You got your peanut panels in it, too.
Man, I love that piece of panels, man. Making me hungry.
You know, John, Jen, you always raise the bar on every project. It's truly a one of a kind, and something I'm very proud of. You know, the bar has been set very, very high with this G-Wagon. Can't wait to see the next one.
That's crazy, man. I see why he came from way around the world. I'm just happy it's all the way around the show. We gotta do this.
Well, while we're waiting on the transport guy, let's go ahead and get you a bag, man. We'll get you hooked up.
Let's get it. Let's get it. That's why I like coming here, man. Y'all give me some good ideas.
This frame, like nothing.
You know, with a car this old, things ain't where they should be originally.
You know, Rat Rod, there's nothing specific how to do anything on it.
That boy's on the ground.
This is a real nice 75 square body with a real long bed.
I got a little problem. This tire's rubbing.
All we have to do is put a wishbone in place.
This is going to look a lot cleaner, and it's done right.
Oh, no!
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
The core of Extensive is come into Extensive, have some sort of suspension work. You know, that's any custom car, you're going to have suspension work. It's the foundation of any vehicle. That's what Extensive is built upon. You know, suspensions to me were, you know, using the trade that my dad passed down to me, just using those skills to create something cool, to modify a vehicle lower to the ground, but that little trick of maintaining ride quality and handling is not just anybody can do that. Whether it's lifted, lowered, off-roading, car shows, or really all of the above, we build every suspension specific to the customer's needs. I mean, every day you get up, you come to work here, it's something different thrown at you, and you learn to adapt, you learn to evolve, and every job that comes in, we progress and get better and better and better, and just keep pushing those boundaries. And this morning, I'm giving a vehicle back that's the perfect example for what we do. It's a 1928 Rat Rod that was in bad need of a modern suspension setup. What's happening, man? Morning, sir. Good morning, good morning. How's it going? Man, I'm good. Today's going to be a real good day for one of the two of us. Hopefully me. Absolutely, absolutely. You know, a rat rod isn't something we normally work on, but it's really cool to get it in, to really focus on. That's the reason why I brought it to you. I wanted something one-off. I wanted something really cool, and I wanted something that would get those old leaf springs out of here and just start fresh. You know, we could have just put some bags on the front, a couple of brackets, and sent it on its way, but as unique as this vehicle is, I wanted to come up with something that just grabbed your attention. I came up with a cantilever system just to put it over the top. You did everything that I was wanting, plus more. Man, that cantilever system is just, man, it's pretty cool, huh? Man, just doing the geometry just to get that to function is the reason why I brought it here. Man, that cantilever front suspension, it was state of the art. It also matched the old school look of the car. I really like that. It's different. You know, in the rear, too, we just took off all those springs and everything and put a tooling suspension on it with a bag on that. So the ride quality's there, the handling's there. It's probably the only thing comfortable of driving this is going to be the suspension now. Well, that was the whole reason why I brought it to Extensive, is because I wanted the suspension to be one-off, and I wanted it to be a very comfortable ride, and I bought it to drive. I didn't buy it to sit in the garage. I bought it to drive. Hell yeah. And of course, you know, we couldn't paint it, especially in, you know, Houston, the humidity that we have here, you know, let the atmosphere do its thing, and just the rust just took over and it just blends everything in. It looks like it's been there for 100 years. The craftsmanship and the work that you did. Man, I appreciate it, man. Man, Bill, thank you very much for the work, and I'm going to enjoy it. I'll see you around. You got it. Thank you, sir. Hey, one more job well done for us, one more out the door, but it's time for me to get back to work because we got many, many, many more to go. Project. Ren, I usually don't talk about your record driving skills, but a couple parts fell off on the way here.
Not this time. It's ready for you. This is how we got it, just like this.
Whose is this?
Guy named Eddie. He's on the way. Good luck on this one, buddy.
We're out. They're gonna leave me with this one, huh? Yes, sir.
You got this, dude.
You know, a project like this is pretty much on that line. You know, do you spend a ton of money, ton of time to make this a really cool truck, or chop it up, sell it for scrap? Because Ford was busy making things for the war, not too many of these 42s were ever made. So, to this day, it's one of the... Hey, Bill! What's happening, man?
What's going on, man? Edward Wilcox.
Hey, nice to meet you. It's your truck?
Yes, sir. 1942 Ford pickup truck. My dream truck.
Oh, yeah, this is a dream come true for you?
Oh, dream, man. I've been working on a lot of stuff, but this is the one I want.
Yeah?
Yes, sir. It's my baby right here.
So, why 42 Ford?
Well, you know, the 42 is one of the rarest trucks. To me, it has a lot of class and style with it. It's one of the first one that had the flat nose in the front. I think is very unique, but it needs a lot of love and attention.
It does. I ain't gonna argue with you on that one. So what do you see when this truck's all done? What do you see here?
I see something bad. I mean, I want a full custom job on this.
You want us to take this truck and just totally remake the whole truck over for you?
Yes, sir, but in parts. I'm gonna have to do a little at a time. I've been looking for this truck over 20 years, and it's been a long road for me to find it, and I finally found it.
Hey, I'm totally cool with that. You know, a project like this can most definitely be overwhelming to a lot of people. So, how far do you want to take this?
Well, Bill, I would like to get everything underneath done first.
So just start out with the rolling chassis first, getting the foundation all set.
Yes.
You know, it has a straight axle on the front.
Yeah.
You know, getting rid of that, putting a Mustang 2 style front end.
Sounds good.
You know, disc brakes on it. You know, a good rear end in it. 4-link on the back.
Yeah.
And are you wanting it adjustable at all or just stationary?
I would like the static ride of it.
So no adjustability, you just want to...
Just something that I can just enjoy.
So just a static drop on it. So like coilovers on this would be ideal. Get that stance right. All you got to do is get in, start it up, and ride.
That's what I'm talking about.
No buttons, nothing to mess with, just ready to roll. You know, this truck has 80-year-old technology. So what we're going to do is just build a Mustang 2 style independent front suspension that's really popular in most hot rods. And a 4-link in the back with coilovers all the way around to give it a good ride and a really good stance.
And Bill, just to let you know, I have the engine and transmission, so I'll be bringing over to you a lot of parts.
That's even better. So what we can do is get the stance right, the ride right, get the engine, transmission in it. You know, get you a column in it so you can steer it. I mean, you can push it around and do whatever you want to do to be able to go on that next phase.
Sound like a winner.
Let's make it happen.
We're gonna make it happen.
You know, this 42 Ford, it's in rough shape, you know, but it's a dream truck to someone. You know, with any dream, you got to start with the foundation. Like, you can't buy an old house and just put doors and windows in it when the floor is falling through. You got to start with the foundation. In this case, starting with a solid frame, brand new suspension, that is ground floor. That's where you start with. And then once you have all that established, you can build upon that. Then you can, you know, get the body panels right, get the paint right, interior. That's second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth stage. You know, I'm glad this truck's been brought in here. You know, we're going to get him hooked up, get him on the right track. You know, if it's us that's going to finish the truck, or if he's going to take it and build it in stages all himself, this is where it's got to be started with. We put the 42 Ford on the lift. Right away, you can see this truck has a big problem.
Appreciate you getting on up there, Timmy.
Hope you don't expect much.
You know, it's just about to come tell you what we're going to do to this, and it just got added, right?
Put it right back in the ocean. That's where it looks like it came from.
Man, there is nothing left of this frame. Like, nothing. You know, this is his dream truck. He's been wanting an early 40s Ford for quite some time. Finally got it, but, man, it's in rough shape, right?
Hopefully he got it cheap.
We're going to be building this in stages. So the first stage of this is... we're going to build the front suspension, get rid of the old straight axle. We're going to put a Mustang 2 style front end with coilovers, front and rear. 4-link for the back, give it a really low stance, something that looks really good. We'll put brand new brakes on it, wheels, tires, and he has his engine trans that we're going to mount in here also. That with a column so he can steer it, he's good to go. That's his stopping point right there.
So you want to mess with this frame? You're going to call him and see if he can get another frame? Or we're going to build one?
We have to change the frame. There's nothing we can't even do with this. It'd take more time and labor to try to repair this than it's worth.
So that's basically where you're at right now. You want to make our rolling chassis for stage 1, and then whenever he gets ready to do phase 2, phase 3, if we do it or somebody else does it, all the suspension and the drivetrain's done.
Yeah, that'd be 100%. So, one other thing, it's not leaving here with this. So out of here looking like that. I'm gonna break that to him as soon as I get on the phone with him right now. Let's go ahead and get it all tore apart. You know, front end off, cab off, roll the whole thing out, and we'll get it going. All right, man.
Grab that corner. No matter what the build is, it's always better to fix the chassis and suspension first. It saves a ton of time and heartbreak later. You know, a lot of times people ask you how you like to get projects. When you do get them like this and the guy does want to do it in sections, it's kind of relief because a job like this would normally take at least a year, if not longer. So it's kind of nice to have something that comes in, leaves, and then we get a fresh start if he brings it back.
This is the easiest teardown ever.
Right?
Yeah.
Now you have the front end off and the cab off, you can really see how bad this frame is. It's all split here. It's all rusted through. This whole core support is just old and nasty. You put any kind of power to it, you're going to wrinkle it up. Luckily, he found another frame for us to start with. So essentially, we're starting back from scratch with a new chassis, but a way better chassis. Sometimes we build our own chassis on a project like this. But to save a bunch of time, the owner sourced a used frame that's going to work perfect for what we're looking for.
This guy brought in another chassis?
We told him how bad the other chassis was, so he found this one. You know, this one looks like it had a small block in it too. So take some of this out, but at least the front of the frame is all still there and it's not rusted all the way back like the other one was.
Yeah.
Just get in there and bolt it up. Take some of this other stuff off and then we'll go from there. Because we're adding the LS with a lot more power, we're going to box it in to help support the frame, reinforce it, and then also give us a good platform. We're going to add our Mustang 2 front suspension to have a cross member that comes down and comes back up. So that'll give it something really good, really solid to tie into, which will make it a lot stronger, and it will also take some of the torque for the motor to keep this thing from twisting up in the front. I mean, you can see over the years how much it's not really consistent. I'm trying to straighten it up, but you can see right here how much the frame will twist, just back and forth. So that's why we're wanting to put a plate all the way down this side to here, and the same on this side. You have something that's a C, it wants to collapse the ends. You make it full boxed in, it's super strong. Basically what I want to do is want to line up this corner with this corner so it gives us this whole valley that the weld will fill in all the way down. It won't be standing up on top of the frame. It fills it in and it's a nice looking weld. Now the bottom one I'll raise up 3/16, cut it, and it'll be good to go. Now you can see right here, it's corner to corner, corner to corner. Now we can put a weld all the way down there, and put a weld all the way down the top.
See a cool truck come to the shop, especially with the old friend driving up in it. Corey, what's up, man?
What's going on, Bill?
How you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Man, all right. This the latest and the greatest?
This is the newest one.
This is a real nice 75 square body with a real long bed. Corey owns a local body shop, and I've known him for a long, long time. So what's up, man? What you got doing?
Let me show you what I got. I got a little problem. This tire's rubbing on this bedside right here.
Well, yeah, it's touching right now.
It is. So the rear end's not totally centered up.
Right.
The wheels, the offset of the wheels, they come off of another truck. I mean, they work on the truck, but it's a real tight gap.
I see.
On this.
Man, definitely riding this low. You can't be doing that. You don't want to be riding around real high in the back, right?
No, I like to ride it low, and as it sits right now, I can't ride low.
What's the other side look like?
But the other side, it's over here. I've got a gap that I don't have over there.
Yeah, you got a little bit more room on this side.
Yes, it's definitely not 100% center, but even if it is 100% center, you still have the panhard bar, right? You have that fixed area on the frame, and then coming over to the axle, it's going to follow that plane no matter what. So you're going to have a little side-to-side movement. And because that wheel is so large, the tire's got a little bulge to it, and just the way the square body's made, it is so close to the bed sides, the fender well trim, to the tire, right? There's no room for movement. A lot of vehicles we deal with, there's only a couple things you can do to fix a problem. Narrow the rear end, get a different wheel and tire, or fix the centering issue. If everything else is good underneath here, I think all we have to do is get rid of the panhard bar and put a wishbone in place. Yeah. That way the suspension can still go up and down, but it won't have any side-to-side movement, so you'll be good with that. You know, wishbone is basically a telescoping bracket that mounts to the frame and mounts to the axle and keeps everything 100% centered.
So, Bill, if you think the wishbone will work, can I just leave it here and get it taken care of?
Man, you know we got you on that, Corey. We'll definitely make it work with what you got and save that paint and save them tires for you.
I'd appreciate that.
It's an easy deal, man. No sweat. Let's go in the office. Let's make it happen. All right. Having a custom car comes with responsibility. It's not buying a car off the lot and you put the keys in it and you just drive it wherever you want. When it comes to a custom vehicle, especially a lowered custom vehicle, you got to learn how to drive it. It's not like driving a stock vehicle. It's how far to turn with big wheels. You can't just turn lock to lock on some instances. You got to swerve around potholes because you have a low profile and how to ride with and to ride low and comfortable and not have any issues. You know, that's just part of the game when you're customizing a build that's already been custom built. You know, the issues that's on Corey's truck with the wheel clearances, you know, it's very, very common. You know, different wheels, different tire, you know, different diameter, different width. I mean, there's all kind of problems that arise anytime you change up anything. In the custom game, the bigger wheels and the lower you get, the better. But it's a fine line between looking good and drivability. Anytime you change to larger wheels and tires, on a lower truck like this C10, you're asking for trouble.
You ready?
Jamie and Lulu are taking off the bed so we can get a good look at what we're working with.
Come on. All right, let it down, guys. All right, thank you. All right, so we got the bed off now. We can see what we're working with. We'll go ahead and start disassembling this thing and start putting our wishbone.
You got it.
We got this.
I'm gonna watch you do it.
No, we got this.
Man, there's not a whole lot of room up here. I mean, the bed sits right here, right? Mm-hmm. You got the exhaust there, you got the frost room there. Instead of messing with any of that, this looks kind of, I mean, it's all right, it's functioning, but I don't really like the looks of it. And I knew we were going to do the wishbone on it. I know he had clearance issues, but, you know, Corey's a friend of mine. I can't be having him ride around looking like this. Now that we have the bed off the C10, I'm seeing a couple more issues. You know, I don't like the plastic line and some of the placement of the valves and compressors. You know, I definitely prefer hard line because it will last way longer and it looks way better. I think moving this tank, moving the air tank back where the factory gas tank was, it'd be totally out of the way on the outside of the frame. Move the compressors and everything out there, so we'll have plenty of room to build a really sturdy, cool looking wishbone. And taking out all this flat bar and everything, and then boxing it back in with a piece of 2x4, and that'll give some rigidity back in this old riveted frame. And we'll make it look just as good on the bottom of it than it does on the top. Alright, cool. Good.
So we're gonna go ahead and dump the air out of the tank right now. Okay, so you can see they overcut the frame right here, and we want it to look like it was made like this. So we're gonna make a straight line even with the notch right here, so it looks nice and clean from underneath. It's gonna function better. We're gonna get rid of the DOT line. We're gonna put hard line on it. We're gonna make sure all the air management's in a nice, tidy position. So it's gonna look great underneath. It's gonna look a lot better than it did before. Bubble gum welds. You see, this weld's a good weld. This is actually one of our notches right here. You can see it's nice, consistent penetration right here. And then you look over this other tab right here. It doesn't flow. I can see spaces underneath it. Not only does this weld not look pretty, it's not consistent, probably not strong, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this piece. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this flat bar out now. This is my last piece. I got everything cleaned up inside the frame. We're gonna cut this out, be good to go.
As for the 42 Ford, the real key is finding that perfect spot for the new crossmember.
Dealing with a car this old, things ain't where they should be originally. We fitted the front end with the cab, got it where it needs to be. Now we gotta get our wheels where they need to be. We can't line it up where it should be, and we can't line it up by eyeballing because everything's just not right. So we're gonna do the best we can with some plumb bobs, center it in our wheel opening, one on each side, and then run as a straight edge across, and that's how we're gonna mark the centers of our frame. That way we know exactly where to put our cross member at. When I'm setting all this up, lining it up, measuring, not only does that cross member need to be dead center on that frame, but we also want that wheel to end up centered in the wheel opening. You don't want it too far back, too far forward, because it's not gonna look right. So when we get that lined up on the frame, all square, perpendicular with frame rails and everything, we gotta come back and make sure our wheel is gonna be centered as well before we can go and start welding all that in place. There you go, buddy.
All right, now we have everything centered up, everything's leveled, the frame's level, this is level, it's centered where we want it. Now we're gonna make a couple pieces to connect this other piece back here. We'll box it all the way in so it'll be 100% strong. Squared up, tacked in place with a piece of flat bar. We need to make some sides for it. So we took a template, kind of measure where it needs to be, and we'll take this over there and make this out of metal. All right, Lulu did a good job getting everything welded in. Now you can see this is all boxed in. So this connects this frame to the cross member. Now we can drop the big engine in here. It'll handle the horsepower and the torque since everything's fully boxed.
We've already narrowed the rear end on the 42 Ford. And because the owner wants to ride low, we got to make room for those 22-inch wheels.
Perfect. That is like a Hot Wheels now, huh?
Now John's going to notch the frame so there's plenty of clearance.
Now we got this all cut out. We know how far up our tire is going to go bottomed out. We're going to put this template inside and outside of frames on both sides, weld it up, and then cut this section out and box it all in. And we got us a notch. So basically, when this truck is bottomed out, like hitting a hard bump, the axle is going to be way up here. Of course, bigger than that circle is just reference. But at ride height is literally going to be about right here. So you need that little bit of space and drivability so your axle doesn't bottom out on your frame. Now we got all our notch plates in line with these two parallel bars, and they're all welded out to the frame. Now we can cut this center section out on both sides and we'll have us a notch. After that, we'll fill them in. Now we weld. So I got the last cap piece tacked in place. Now this is ready to get welded out. Once I'm done, the frame will be done.
I'm gonna figure out how to make a wishbone.
Lulu's getting the wishbone going on the C10, which will look like the turkey wishbone from Thanksgiving when it's done.
First step is get a piece of angle, then be our straight edge, map this to the table, and from there, get some measurements off the rear end, and come back and draw it off the table. Outside to outside is 24.
On a 2-link rear suspension, there's nothing holding the axle going from side to side once you remove the panhard bar. So we need something to keep everything in place, and the wishbone does that by 3 fixed points that are going to hold everything straight going up and down, and has a telescoping point that lets the 2-link go up and down without being in a bind.
Now I can notch your shirt. Right, here's the moment of truth. Lands where it needs to land. That's what we want right there. So now that I have these outside pieces tacked in here, now you can see why it's called a wishbone.
Okay, so while Elu's making our wishbone, I'm gonna go ahead and relocate our compressors back here. I've already started on one, got my marks for the next one. Go ahead and put my compressor here, tack it up. Then I'll know right where I can put my manifold, weld that on. We'll run our air lines to it. Everything's our tank, which is going up front, what we talked about. It's just gonna look a lot cleaner, and it's done right. I'll weld these out real quick. I'll mount my compressors. Then I'll be able to see right exactly where my manifold's gonna go. Okay, well, that's not gonna work there. The issue I'm having right now is just a clearance issue, so I'm gonna go ahead and just shorten this bracket right here for our manifold. I'm leaving about an 1/8 inch off the manifold, so I'll still have room for my air lines to go in behind the compressors. Let me take this off, go ahead and shear it. You can see there's enough room to get our airline out. It's nice, clean, it's tight, looks good, it's compact. Now tack it, weld it.
The C10's getting really close to getting done. We finished welding, painting, and installing the wishbone.
Now that we've got the wishbone on there, everything's perfect. It's going to stay exactly centered between both frame rails, so we're not going to have any issues with tire rubbing.
Lulu and Jamie are finishing by running hard lines in between the air compressor, tank, and airbag.
Come on with it, move, please, move.
Man, it might have taken only a couple days to knock out.
Go forward. I think that's it, guys.
But the changes we made are going to make a world of difference. Corey, what's happening?
What's going on, Bill?
How you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Man, doing good, man, doing good. Man, I know you came in, you was having some issues, the clearance issues of taking a wheel and tire off another truck and fitting it on another truck that wasn't really designed for it. We got you all hooked up, everything. Let's check it out.
Hi, man. Oh, man. Much better. Look like you're ready to drive.
Yeah, man.
Wheels look good.
Right?
Man, the truck's only been gone a week, but seeing it coming out that gate, I'm so happy to have it back.
Beautiful C10, man. Good looking truck.
Man, thanks, Jamie.
Corey, you came in, you had air suspension, of course, you got to have that riding low, but it had a panhard bar on it, but that's just how our kits are designed, right? Mm-hmm. But in this case, with those wheels and tires, with this bedside, the way a square body's designed, man, everything has to be on the money for everything to play right. Well, now everything has been redone. We cut off all the old panhard bar. and just started over. We built a wishbone, so there's no side-to-side movement now. So when you raise and lower, the rear end stays perfectly centered in between the bed sides.
Exactly what I needed on this one.
You know, while we're underneath there, truck need a little extra love, you know, so.
Yes. Yeah, we moved a lot of stuff around, man. Went ahead and moved the air tank, moved the compressors, moved the manifold, did hard lines to everything, cleaned everything up. It looks amazing under there. It matches the truck now.
Awesome.
It looks real good underneath there now, man, and it works real well.
I'm glad y'all took it in.
You know, you don't want plastic lines on a custom build like this. I mean, you have vibration issues, chafing, rubbing, heat. You don't want any of those problems. I mean, that'll leave you on the side of the road. So a nice hard line is definitely the way to go. Corey, you know, it looks good underneath there. We got everything in its place, but, you know, it's the moment of truth of dropping it down on the ground and making sure, you know, the clearance is at 100% and no issues.
Let's check it out.
Jamie, drop that sucker down. Let's show him how centered it is.
Oh, man, all right. Looks like the wheels fit now, Bill.
Yeah, both sides.
Both sides, yeah. They clear.
Right.
That looks a lot better. I can already tell. Gap here, wheels clear there.
Yeah, it's on the money.
Same gap over here. It's perfect.
Man, it goes straight up and down.
Exactly what it needs. That way I can roll low.
Yeah.
Man, I appreciate you, Bill, and thank you, Jamie, for everything that you did.
Man, you're very welcome.
Have fun with it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Lulu and Jamie always got my back. They did a great job. And Corey, enjoy driving your truck around as low as you like.
Take it easy.
The roller chassis is coming together on the 42 finish, mounting the LS and add a new steering column.
I'm glad Tim boxed in that open channel frame because this is a whole lot of motor, and I don't think that original frame would have held up. So with that said, with it being boxed in, shipped it over that way, should have no problems holding this power plant. Right there. So now we got suspension done, the rack in place. We're gonna install the steering column inside the truck, get it all mounted up, and then we're gonna connect our steering shaft from the end of the column to the end of the rack. First thing we're gonna do is take that bottom plate off the floor that the original steering column went through and make a new one that's flat. That way we can install this lower column mount, which we just call it an eyeball because when you put it in the floor, you can move it around, pivot it however you want. That'll get bolted back up to the floor, and the steering column will slide through here. And that's our lower mount. Now all we gotta do is make us a new panel, the same shape as what came out, on a new piece of flat metal. What I'm doing now is just figuring out the center of my lower mount. We need to cut out a hole about a good 3 inches. Perfect circle, see? With these bolt holes, then we'll slide our column through, and the column will get mounted to the bottom of the dash. Does it fit? Of course it does. Just about the right spot we need it. Now the only thing we got left to do is connect from the steering column to the rack and pinion. What we're gonna use is this piece of 3/4 DOM that slips into this U-joint. From here, we're gonna come down to another U-joint with a heim that'll come right off the frame, and then from there to the rack. Take a measurement. Now tack it in place and test it out. Alright, this is the moment of truth. We got the steering wheel. I'll get this mounted on the column. Give it a few cycles, left to right. See how it feels. Alright, everything looks good. Tire's nice and smooth. See what it does with the wheels on. But for now, all we gotta do is weld this out. Steering is done.
Getting really close to being done with stage 1 on the 42. Jamie's gonna put on those huge 22s.
Looks nice. I like that.
One thing that's been bothering me since I've seen this truck is that grill. So we're gonna replace it with an original vintage grill.
That looks much, much better.
You know, in the the world of custom, there's extremes. There's extreme low and there's extreme high, and everything in between. When it comes to being the lowest of the low, there's a certain thought process of what all has to be done to create something really, really low to the ground. And you're thinking about fender wells, how big a wheel is going to fit underneath there. In some cases, a new frame being built. I mean, there's a lot goes into, when something's sitting on the ground like that. As far as lifted trucks, it's not just throwing springs on or anything like that. That's a whole nother thought process of what suspension is going to work the best at what height. The different shocks, the different wheels, different tires, different brakes, different everything. I mean, there's a lot to be thought about when you're building custom suspensions. Custom suspension is part of the custom build. You gotta have it.
Bill?
Man, what's happening?
Oh man, I'm just here, brother, waiting on you.
Yeah, yeah, everybody's waiting on me, right? Can't build them fast enough.
That's right.
Man, you came in, you had your dream truck and a big dream.
Oh yes, I do.
Phase 1 is complete, man. I think you're really gonna like it to finally see all those parts come together.
I cannot wait, man.
You ready to check it out?
Yes, sir.
Come on, man.
Oh, Lord. Oh, man. God, you did it, brother. That's what I'm talking about right there.
What you think, man?
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm looking for. That's exactly what I'm looking for. And when I went around the corner to see my truck, I said, wow, I couldn't believe all the parts that I had he put together, and I couldn't believe it. I'm loving it.
There you go.
That's the way I dreamed it. When can I start driving?
Right. We're still a little ways away from that one.
Oh, yeah.
We ain't driving yet. That's the next go around. But, phase 1.
Yeah.
I mean, we took the parts that you had and just built what's becoming your dream truck. We got it on the lift and just noticed the frame was totally rusted out. So luckily you brought us a new frame, good foundation. We can start building front suspension, start building the rear suspension, coilovers on it, just to get that stance right. We took the wheels and tires that you supplied us and we put the wheel up in place and just built all the components to make the wheel and tire fit on there to make everything work properly. And then kind of, give a little throwback look with the original grill and the styling that's there too. I think it just makes the whole project look a little better with, the classic styling still there.
And it looks a lot better that way than how I had it before. I'm happy, man. I can't be no happier than what I am right now.
Right? Well, let's check out the back. You can see the suspension and everything underneath of it.
Oh, man, this is what I'm talking about right here.
Usually you see we do air suspension or coilovers. In this case, you wanted that static, low all the time, so we went with coilovers on the back.
Oh, yeah.
We built a parallel 4-lane, so you can put whatever power is under the hood, this suspension can handle.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
With a big notch in the frame, so you got plenty of wheel travel. So you still have that comfortable ride. With that wheel travel, still has plenty of room, so it's going to ride and handle very, very well and be real low.
Oh, yes, sir. That's what I want. And it looks lovely. You did an excellent job. You got it. And I like that. I really do. That's why I came to you.
Hell yeah. Let's check out inside here.
Okay. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all keep on just surprising me. Man, it's nice. That's exactly what I'm looking for right there.
When a truck's in a stage like this, one of the most important things, once you get it rolling, you got to be able to steer it. You're going to be working on it yourself and moving it around, so you have to have a column in.
Looks good. The column, how he did the work was excellent. I think that was a perfect job.
Let's check out under the hood.
Okay.
We'll just grab it. We'll just set it down right here.
That's my baby.
Man, you see it all coming together now, really, right?
Man, it looks nice.
You said you got about 800 horsepower, huh?
Yes, sir.
It looks right at home underneath here, right?
Yeah.
Built a new crossover, added the rack and pinion steering, built the control arms, upper and lowers, we built the motor mounts, built the trans mount. Man, you set up.
It looks real nice, man. You did a lovely job on everything. Hey, this is the first phase. I can't wait till the second, third, fourth, whatever how many signatures it is.
That's totally up to you.
A little at a time, so I'm trying to do it. Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, man. It's always cool to help somebody out that's been waiting and waiting and waiting to get their truck built. Edwards had this dream for quite some time, and it's cool to help somebody out. That's what we do, man. See what needs to be improved and get after it. 1960 Jeep Willys. Now the work really starts getting going. Putting all that metal back in place. That's a huge job. But we're just really getting started.
Looks better already, huh?
We still don't have an engine for it.
I'm trying to find a late model Hellcat motor.
Oh, Lord, look at this thing, man.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
Let's see what happens here. Man, it always makes for a good day. Just take a break from the shop, come out and check out the new slab. Relieve a little frustration. Do a Donut's is going to be short-lived. This is soon to become Extensive Metalworks' new headquarters with a lot more space. Extensive started in one small little 30 by 40 shop. For the past 25 years, we've just been building and building and building, and we're busting at the seams right now. There's nowhere else to build. Here we are, brand new property, about to build an even bigger facility, 8.5 acres, starting out with 30,000 square feet, and we'll see where it goes from there. We have plenty of space to keep going, keep progressing. I never would have dreamed this, so I can't say a dream come true, but this is the next phase in Extensive Metalworks evolution. We have a whole lot left to do before the new shop is finished and we can move in. But some things can't wait, like the record. It seems like we just bought it, so I'm going to run over to RPM, see my buddy Ryan.
What's happening, man? What's up, Bill?
See what he's got on the lot, get that new record going. Man, the 5500 you built me is a badass truck, but I got a little problem with it.
What's that?
Our builds always get bigger and better. They've been getting heavier too. So I'm just feeling like I need a little bit bigger truck. I'm just overloading the one we got right now. I think it's time for, a trade up.
Cool, let's go find another project.
Let's go check it out. Man, you got all kind of stuff out here.
We just sold him a new truck a year ago. What about something like this here?
Man, it's a big old truck.
With Bill, whatever he has is going to get bigger, bigger, and bigger.
75 ton?
100 ton.
100, huh?
And go bigger.
Man, this is what I'm talking about right here. This size truck, I don't ever have to worry about anything again. But the International, man, I like that. Let's check that one out.
That's the one you need, come on.
Good looking truck, man. Love it. I love the pewter. I'm usually a black truck guy, but pewter looks good. Just looking at the International, the other trucks are just a little more industrial. The International just has that look of just wanting to be customized.
26,000 pound GVW so you can haul the weight that you need to haul.
Yeah, that's what I don't want to worry about.
No swinging and banging.
Man, I love the wheelbase of this. The air suspension on the back so we can get even lower, huh?
Yes, sir.
That's a must. I'm seeing a lot of potential here. Maybe split the bumper, maybe give it a little bit more length. Once you get the bed on, you get the toolboxes on, we can build a running board that comes from the front fender all the way back to the back, right into the boxes itself, and really finish all that out.
Brand new equipment. You're going to chop it all up?
Yeah.
Just like you do with everything.
That's what we do, man. See what needs to be improved and get after it. So once you do what you do, I'll get it over to my shop and do what I do.
Oh, yeah.
Let's
That's it. Let's do this one.
Bill's gonna do his own custom stuff once we're done, so we need to hurry up and get in action and take care of our side. Our cabin chassis that we're using has a long extended frame. We're gonna need to whack that off at the back so we can have our pivot point, so we're gonna cut the frame off at the right length that we need.
Now we're ready for the bed, and next step is going to be set the bed on the frame. Okay, coming down.
We're using a steel bed, 12,000-pound deck, 102 wide, thing that Bill puts on it. Get that welded on, bolted down, get that mounted up, and we'll move to the next step, which will be toolboxes.
Okay, push. This is the toolbox that we're going to install. We call it Monster Toolbox because this is the biggest one. It's a 78 by 20. Alright. This is huge. Go in some more. Slowly. Right there. We use silicones to seal the holes. That way the water doesn't go into the toolbox.
Alright. Bill took care of me so good on my dad's truck. We're gonna give it that little extra pizzazz. Sneak it off to the paint booth. Add this color and blend it on down here on the side rail. Give it that little extra customization.
We just got the truck back from the paint. It's ready to go, so now we're gonna put the pylon, which they painted too. We're gonna do the light bar after that, and then keep on with the winch cable and tow some trucks.
You know, it's real cool to build a rolling business card. This wrecker is going to be one of Extensive's shop trucks. You know, something that we use on a daily basis that gets the job done, but it's got to look real cool while we're doing it. You don't want to be riding around a regular old wrecker, you know, that everybody else has. When somebody sees our truck go by, I want not only the wrecker community, but everybody to go, damn, that's a cool truck. Oh yeah, it just happened to be a wrecker too. What you think, Timmy?
This thing's bad. Really nice.
Little upgrade, right?
First thing I noticed, though, it's got 22.5, so we should be able to haul whatever we want.
No more problems.
Is the deck longer on this one, too?
Way bigger, man. I mean, everything about it's just huge. Oh, RPM did real good on it, man. But it needs a little bit more upgrading. I want to build something that not only a cool record, but I want it to be a cool truck.
Well, I already know you got something planned for here.
I mean, definitely got to build some running boards, you know, from the bottom of the cab all the way down where the lower step's at. From the front wheel to the rear wheels. Fenders over the wheels, you know, get rid of the mud flaps and all that. That's it.
Okay, Bill was absolutely right. That was definitely the fastest teardown I've ever done.
In the process of figuring out how we're going to do the running boards for a factory truck. You know, a guy getting in and out of the truck every day, it works. But it just doesn't look cool. It don't look custom. We're going to fill in all this void in between the toolboxes and the fender, you know, pretty much from wheel to wheel. I want to have a nice, clean running board that's going to hide all this and have one long step. So it's going to look cool and be functional. It's going to be fun. You know, we're at one of the very beginnings of the process. You know, first you got the idea. Second, we're going to transfer the idea over to the chipboard. I'm going to make a pattern. Check and see if it fits to it, man. But in the process of doing this, you're thinking in your head, hey, how can I make it cooler? How can I make it better? This is going to dead end right into the box. Need to make that a little longer.
That looks pretty good.
I got a little piece of scrap just so we can start bending and just make sure we don't bend ourselves into a corner. You know, I've bent pieces before and then it won't
won't fit into the brake. So I'm just bending this at the shape we're going to bend in a big sheet. That way we don't waste a big sheet of metal. That won't work.
Yeah, that'll be the last bend too. We'll make it. Good morning.
What?
Yeah, man, I finally cut it.
Who are you?
It's been a while since I cut it. It's been a little over 3 years, so feels so much different. It's not all on my face when I ride, but you know, it's still taking getting used to. I keep on rubbing my face and my beard's not there. It's kind of crazy.
Well, it's good to have old Jaime back.
Right on.
You know, for me, a big key to metal fabrication is making it look like it came from the factory like this. We're bending the running boards on the 22 International. We're going to make it match the overall shape and flow of the factory truck.
Come on down.
Ready?
Yeah, try that.
You know, it's really critical in bending anything like this with multiple bends to make sure every bend is in the right spot. If you mess up on the first one, all the other ones are going to be out of whack and crooked. It's going to be, we definitely don't want that.
We're at this bend, right?
Yeah. I don't love bending metal. Just satisfying, you know what I mean? There you go. Shit, man.
Looks good.
Yeah.
It's definitely change the look of that thing.
There's one way to find out. Push it in a little bit. All right. It's pretty close. And now you can kind of see where all the bends actually fit on the truck itself. One clean look all the way from front wheel all the way to the back. Damn, that's pretty badass.
You got to see out there what Bob did that Jeep. He cut the whole thing in half this way. He cut it that way. So the Jeep's now in 4 pieces.
Oh, man.
What y'all talking about?
I was just explaining to Max how Bob just walked right up to that Jeep, just looked at it, and just cut it straight in half.
Man, you'd be heartbroken. I brought in Bob for one of our biggest metal jobs in a while. The owner of a pristine Willys Jeep wants to give it that mean bulldog look. So Bob quartered it, making it wider and longer. We got it all braced up. Now the work really starts getting going.
It looks totally different.
Mm-hmm. Cutting the cab up into 4 pieces, you know, it's just a start. You know, putting all that metal back in place, you know, that's a huge job. From that to building the frame, chopping the front end up, widening it, building a full bed, painting. After all that's done, huge interior job. And we still don't have an engine for it.
What motor are you going with on that one?
Oh man, you gotta have the Hellcat in, right?
You did decide with Hellcat?
Yeah. This truck came with an old straight 6, but that definitely won't cut it. The Hellcat's a 6.2 with over 700 horsepower stock. Way too much power for it, right? So that's just right. It's pretty much a race engine, not something you normally put in a truck. I know it's next to impossible to find a new one, right? Supply chain crap is all out of whack.
You know, we're a year out on those.
So, you know, let's go. The next best thing is trying to find a pull out of something, you know, late model, very low mileage, you know, clean engine.
So I got a few feelers out, and the ones I've found so far are either, you know, they've been in a high-speed wreck, so the whole front's mangled up. The Hellcat on it, you know, so we got to have an actual real Hellcat.
Yeah, I want the real deal. Got to have it.
Hopefully, shouldn't be too much longer. We'll have something to fit in there.
Yeah, we're going to need something pretty quick, man, so pedal to the metal.
Yeah. You ready? Y'all have fun.
All right.
Today, I'm running around town trying to locate a Hellcat motor for this Jeep Willys. Houston has so many incredible little places for parts, but you got to know where to look. Hola, Jefe!
Hey, how you doing, brother?
What's up, my man? So I'm here at Tex-Mex today. You know, it's a junkyard, so they have all kinds of stuff. And what some people think is junk is big money to this guy. Man, you got all kinds of motors over here.
We sure do.
You keep all kinds of good stuff, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Some of these motors just look like complete junk. You know, they've been on fire, they're wrecked. That's a new, LT motor?
Yes, sir.
Got a little hot, huh?
Yes, a little bit.
but a lot of stuff you can just pull off, replace, and it's still fully usable.
2006 5.3 out of Chevy pickup 4x4.
That's a good motor. That's on the hot rod motors. Everybody's wanting the LS's. This one's not going to be here long.
Yeah, somebody already have put down.
That was already sold?
Yes, sir.
That happens. Ooh, big Cummins diesel.
Yes, sir. 5.9 diesel motor. All 5 dash pickup.
Everybody wants one. Yeah. Man, there's a lot of good stuff here that we could use, but I'm really on the hunt for that Hellcat. So if you find one low mileage, brand new in the box, any one of those, give me a shout. We'll come over, I'll grab it, and we'll get it in this project.
Back to the shop, we're getting busy on the metalwork for the Jeep. By stretching it out, we gained in between 6 and 8 inches on the body. Now Bob's gonna make it all seamless.
Okay, right now I'm trimming this piece into here. That'll be the start of this. You notice these are rounded on the ends and this is squared off. We're gonna round these. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna split it right here, and then we're gonna actually hand hammer it all around. Okay, we got it all hammered out. What we did here is we made the ends round, then it'll have a nice finished edge, just like the rest of the doors do. Okay, now we got this welded in. We got the lines here rounded off, bodywork, it'll look perfect. We made an extra long piece. We're gonna use about half of it to match the contour of the cab. See how it mates up to it really nicely. But to do that, we're gonna have a problem because they don't really have a roller for doing this. So we're gonna make some special tooling. It should be pretty cool. Okay, let's looking at the junkyard.
Since I opened Extensive over 2 decades ago, I hate throwing stuff away.
Probably even use a coil, but I don't want to ruin something they might use.
As a lifelong fabricator, you just never know when you can use something. So I'm definitely not surprised Bob using old parts to make a new tool for that 60s Jeep.
This is too big, huh?
No, that's perfect. We need 3 of them. We're going to use these old U-bolts here we found in the boneyard to build our tooling to bend this. What we're going to do is we're going to weld 3 of them together, and then we're going to use a rubber mallet, and that'll give us our curve. That's why it's a good idea to never throw anything away.
So I'm new here at the shop, and having an opportunity to work with a guy like Bob Grant is just amazing.
That looks pretty good. Like that.
Okay.
We're gonna weld them in like this.
So they don't teach you this kind of stuff in school, so it's really cool to learn how to do it. It takes a lot of experience and years of work to really figure it out. So I'm having a pleasure learning it. As you can see, our tool came out pretty good. Lines up perfectly with our bend. So now it's time to put it to use.
This is a hard piece to form because there's 3 rules we gotta do here. The edge is a little bit wavy, so I got this hammer. We're gonna fine tune it. Worked pretty good though for some old U-bolts. Okay, we got it pretty good now. Matches our pattern. Might be a little bit long on the sides here, but we'll check it out and see how it looks. The ribs here match these. What I'll do is I'll cut this out and butt weld it all. That'll finish the body line around the back and match the cab perfectly. So we got our new piece in here. That new tool really helped us out. Matches the ribs perfectly. We'll install the other side and get it all ground up. We got this corner all ground down. All the body lines match up. Next, we're going to build some filler panels for these. Cut out our pieces and pre-fit them. And then we'll start tack welding them in there. Okay, so we got this all cut out, but when we were cutting it, I noticed there's like a good ½ inch of lead right here. So evidently this thing got hit pretty bad at one point. I'm gonna cut out that area. I'll re-roll another cap piece. We noticed it kind of hit the inner structure a little bit too. Well, you kind of see all the damage here. So this whole corner is built out of lead. That's not even a real corner. Looks like I could maybe get rid of some of it just by digging it out. Maybe hammer it a little better. This piece I'll have to replace though. All lead right there. So my next step is to remake this little flange here and roll this little piece. So this is how they should have fixed it the first time. So back in the day, they used lead to repair a lot of damage on cars, and they'd put it on with wooden paddles. They'd heat it all up and put it on, and they'd use it just necessarily the right way to do it. A lot of people like using it, but I don't. It's really poisonous. It stays in your system. Actually looks pretty good. High octane, unleaded. It gets pretty exciting seeing all the pieces go back in. So it's starting to look like an actual vehicle. Yeah, it'll be all ready to go, just like factory.
I'm on the hunt for something, man, and I'm hoping you're gonna be the guy that's gonna help me out. A lot of guys only look for parts on the internet, and I do too. I'm trying to find a late model Hellcat motor. All right, let me get his number from you. But I found as much success going old school. You know, picking up the phone, calling everybody I can think of. 75,000 miles, and it's been run to the track. Yeah, that's not really what I'm hunting for, man. I appreciate it, though. The customers, they don't care if the parts are hard to find. They just want what they want, and they want it yesterday. One was on fire. I definitely don't need that one. These Hellcat motors are race engines. A lot of times they end up destroyed, being driven too hard or crashed. Oh no, no paperwork? Yeah, let me look into this and I'll get back with you. It doesn't have paperwork, but it's still got a chunk of frame around it, so I don't know that
that sounds stolen just a little bit, right?
Well, on to the next one. We're trying.
Almost finished with those custom steps on the 22 International. So Jamie's out there putting the final pieces onto the design. We got a little filler piece in between the running board and the box, Jamie. So all we want to do is, we got this step hanging out. So let's just cut the little end of it off, give it a nice little gradual step into the filler.
Yeah, that's definitely what it needs. We could have just capped this and been done with it, but we took the extra step, a lot of cutting, some bending, folding, to go ahead and add this cap to tie in, and then we're going to add this piece to tie into that. It's all the things you really don't see that takes the time, but when it's all together, it looks like it's supposed to. I could have just left the box alone and not added this piece, but I'm going to see this truck every day, and it's going to ring over and over in my head. I could have done that. I should have my other piece right here. Getting a little freedom to do kind of what I want to. I'm really happy with it. Phil's definitely got the confidence in me to take care of this by myself. There we go. I'm happy with it. Bill's going to love it. I'm going to be able to look at that and be proud of it. Birds are chirping, dogs are barking, metal's flying. Fixing to weld some stuff.
The 22 International is going to be our new record that'll represent the shop. So of course it needs to fit the part. So I'm thinking a meaner bumper that'll give it the right look.
So with everything that we're customizing on the truck, this bumper right here really stands out. It's too short, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and splice it, add my 6 inches in between, give it that nice aggressive look from the front so it matches the rest of the truck. I'm going to do this in 3 pieces. My middle section first, stick this in the roller, just give it a little shape. Now you can see it's got a little curve to it. That's going to be way too pitched forward. The bumper be touching the wheels, probably even pitched down. Edge a little bit right here, stand it back just a little bit more till I'm happy, so I can get that perfect pitch where it's flat instead of just tucking down. Oh, you see me running my hand across it like this. Basically, I'm seeing if my fingernail grabs it. If my fingernail grabs it, I know it's too high. If it's just a smooth transition with my fingernail, I know that's right where I need to be. Then we'll go ahead and start on the sides. Gonna roll out. And that's tricky here. You know, it's not like the middle piece. I have a radius going this way, so I need to trim this piece off because I don't want it being short on this end. I still want the same distance so the bumper's even all the way down. The bumper's forming up real quick. I like the shape. Go ahead and start tacking in, walk it all the way down. Once I get this side, duplicate it, do the other side, trim it. Next, we're gonna be adding this piece. Now this is my center mark right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and measure between these holes. Find my center. Bang, bang, boom. We're gonna tack it. I'm going back and forth, because I don't want any of these ends, they're loose, I'm clear right there. I'm not over, I'm not under. I'm making sure I'm consistently even all the way across. Once I get it all tacked in, then I can come back and start filling in between my tacks. As you can see, I got the bumper stretched now. It was a lot of work, but final product, man, this thing's sharp. It's gonna look good on that truck.
Max is great at what he does. You give him something to do, consider it done. And would you know, you found that Hellcat for the 60s Willys Jeep.
I got a buzz online that Buddy Lynn, who's like a local car collector, he's got one. So I'm over here now to see if we can make a deal and get this thing.
Man, finally got you out of here.
Yeah, how are you?
Man,
you got a couple cars out today, don't you?
pick your poison. What you thinking?
Wow. I've always heard Lynn was a little bit of a car collector, but I didn't know that it was to this extent. You got a little bit of everything.
Got my baby right here, the Demon baby. We did a lot of modifications to it. Awesome. You know, top end, bottom end pulleys. You know,
she's full go fast.
She full go fast.
This guy's got Jeeps on tracks. He's got a side-by-side rat rods.
Then your boy over here did this as well, Justin.
Real nice. I think he's got a little bit of everything. Is that a big wheel trike?
She did that for my wife for Mother's Day, man. You know, one of a kind.
She got good taste.
She's happy, I'm happy.
That's all about
I get to buy what I want to buy as long as she gets it.
You're right. Speaking of buying, you got a motor I'm looking for.
We got a little something over here for you. You've been waiting on, man.
Let's go check it out.
We got it. Let's roll. Being in the car game, you know, you come across everything and everybody that wants to buy certain things. And I happen to have a 2019 Red Eye motor and trans. Yeah, there she is, the golden girl. What you been wanting, baby?
That's exactly what I've been hunting for.
She ain't missing nothing, baby. Wild Hornets, the old Capone HP2. She has a little cam work pulley system. Top end of it's done. You know, whole 9 yards.
Red Eye.
There we go, baby. That's her.
Just putting down, what, 11?
1175. Like I said, by the time you get done with it, 1200. You know how that goes.
It's got a whole bunch of oomph in it. Whole bunch. How many miles do you think's on it?
Give or take 25, 35.
Perfect.
Right up in there. Now, my question is, what is this going in?
It's going in a 1960 Jeep Willys.
Wow. Wow. That little bit of Jeep truck for this that Willys gonna do a Willy. I would love to see that, though.
I appreciate you holding on to it, because I know if I didn't show up and get it,
somebody was on the way.
I guarantee
told me to be here in 20 minutes. If you ain't come, I promise you, they was coming through that gate.
Well, let's get it loaded up, man. I'll get out your hair.
It's all love, baby.
I appreciate you, man.
All right.
That is exactly what we were looking for. This one showed up that just weren't up to what we were looking for, because either it was in a wreck or, you know, it's just been beat to death because it's a race car motor. But luckily, this one looks really well taken care of, and that's a little bit less pressure on this build now that we found the heartbeat.
One more piece to fill in the 60s Willys. It's also the biggest piece, that roof. Wouldn't you know, our old parts coming into use again.
Does that look like a top to 59 Caddy to you?
Yeah, it sure does, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's the one Bill said we could use, soft Slim Tug's car.
Cool, let's do it. We left a little bit extra on the sides just in case, because it's better to have it a little bit too long, that way you can trim it to fit. So let's see if it comes off here. Alrighty.
We're gonna take the roof skin over here, looks like we're gonna cut it about 10 inches. This is a little bit better way to do it because you're not welding so much in the middle of the skin because it always wants to sag. And hang under there with the dolly and it just takes forever. It's doable, but it's kind of a waste of time. Looks better already, huh? I know this looks crazy and bad right now, but once we get it all cut out and trimmed up, it's gonna look perfect. Let's see how it fits perfect. That's just the way it goes, huh? Man, this turned out good. It looks all in proportion. It's lengthened, it's widened. I mean, it's everything they asked me to do. This thing's gonna be really, really cool when it's all finished.
Bob killed it on the metalwork on the 60s Jeep. Juan and the body guys, they got after it as well. And now the Jeep body looked like it rolled off the Willys assembly line back in 1960.
Well done.
Man, I love it, man. I love seeing it in this state compared to what it was a couple weeks back. Chopped up in many, many pieces. You guys killed it, man. Seeing the cab in this state just gets everybody excited in the shop and gets those creative juices flowing. So much work has been done to this already. We got many, many, many man hours, but we're just really getting started.
Oh yeah.
Just getting the front end where it needs to be. That's a whole nother project in itself. We're gonna build the whole frame, build all the suspension, then put the engine, then put the trans, then build the firewall, building the whole handmade bed for it. This is such a daunting project. We got a long way to go, man.
Oh yeah. All right, man. Go yours.
You know, if you're not from Houston, you may not know it can get really cold in the winter. And today, it's going to be freezing. So we're trying to make room to fit that big old International inside, where we can make the custom toolboxes. You know, the power line that was on it was cool. It's good looking for most wreckers, but in this case, you know, I want something a little more little box. One of the major challenges in this is getting the look right, because you can just build a box, put it on, and just totally ruin the look of the truck. I got my piece of aluminum square tubing sewn on it, and I'm just going to trace around the cab so it goes along with the rest of the truck.
The soapstone lines are good, but a lot of times they're real hard to see once you got a saw right on it. So I'm just gonna lay me down some fine line tape right on the line so you get a better visual of where you're cutting. A little bit of this soap helps the aluminum from sticking to the blade, clogging it up. Helps lubricate it, keeps it from sticking. Our secret cutting saws will be available soon on the web store. Now we got the first piece all cut out, and we're gonna get another full sheet and lay it across the back. Now we need the magic stick, and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna trace this edge off the cab, but off of this to get that back piece the same shape as this. The reason for that is the back one's gonna be an angle, so it's not gonna be exactly the same as this. It's gonna be a little taller.
You got it so it lines up?
I hope so.
Good shape though, it fits the cab really good. Man, we're making some headway right now. We got the back part of the wall in, and we're starting to build from the back wall out. So it's a lot easier to do that other than building a box and then putting shelving in. So put the shelves in, and then we'll just keep on building from there all the way out. Just doing the quick layout of the door spacing right there. And we're about to cut out the door openings, and we want to make that 100% right and true. We get one shot at it, unless you want to buy some more metal. 1/8" aluminum isn't very cheap.
made me a template with some chipboard of that wraparound that comes from the top down to the side. Majority of our lines are straight, so what I'm gonna do is cut most of it I can with the straight edge, and then all the curves I'll go back with a jigsaw. That fits really, really well. Take this off and I guess put it on the floor over there. It's a little heavy. Start building these doors. We got all the door frames welded in place, sanded and smooth. All I need is this measurement here. So our door is going to be about 21.5 inches. We got to overcut it about 3/4 of an inch on each side and top and bottom. That way we can cut the corners out, break each side, and it'll give us a partial box. Makes the door stronger, it won't flex as much, and you know it'll tuck inside this frame that we built here. Now all we need is a little handle right here to lock it, to keep it from opening up while you're driving. Kind of hard to believe this all started off on just flat sheets of aluminum.
There's an old saying, time to lean, time to clean. I'm never not working. The best way to prove that you're a hard worker to everybody is to pick up a broom and start sweeping when nobody even asked you to. I feel like a lot of cats my age think that they're going to start running a company at the age of 23, which is not always is the case. You know, you have to start somewhere and work your way up. You got to do the grunt work and you got to earn it. It all boils down to work ethic. You know, and you get more opportunity to move up. My love of cars started when I was maybe in middle school. My father had a really nice looking truck that he bought one time, and since that day I've always kind of wanted something custom of my own. It's nice to have something that not everybody else has, but something that at the same time says a little bit of something about you. So I decided to go to a trade school, and that's what really kick-started everything for me. Extensive stood out to me just because of the crazy amount of detail that goes into all these cars. I knew I wanted to be a part of that. I'm learning more and more every day, and it's going to bring me right where I need to be.
We made for the 22 International were coming together. John finished the toolbox. We had it all color matched, and it looks great. And to top it all off, we're adding over 100 LED lights.
You know, Bill wanted a ridiculous amount of lights on this truck, and exactly what we're doing. When you think you got enough lights on it, put about 100 more.
So this is the most wiring I've ever put in a vehicle. I know we have a couple thousand feet of wire in this thing, and it all goes right here.
We spent a ton of time on this record so far, and I've been wanting to show off what we did. First show, I told him, man, I got you. I'll pick up Blue Thunder on our brand new record, and we'll all go together.
Look who's showing up already. Lord, look at this thing, man. Look at that bumper. Those lights, man.
Whoa, look at those toolboxes.
Damn. You did your thing here.
What you think, man?
Man, that's gorgeous.
That's not the same truck that we just built.
It don't look like it anymore, right? You guys are phenomenal at doing what you're doing, but, you know, just had to take it to the extensive level, you know.
We make sure that it works good, you make sure it looks good.
You know, you never really know how someone's going to take it when you take their work and work on it from there. But, you know, these guys really appreciate what we do.
Look at this, man. Oh.
You know, to have someone like Ryan admire the work that you do, you know, that's a high honor.
Man, look at that. All the lights on the folders and everything, it looks really great.
One of the first things I wanted to do is fill in that big void where the batteries were, the gas tank. You already have the toolboxes in the right spot. Tenuous box pretty much from the front wheel all the way back to the back. And of course we had to split the bumper and make it lower too. So it just looks a lot meaner when it's coming down the road at you.
It's beautiful with the stretch and the molding in there and color match.
You know, I wanted to get rid of all the chrome and just make it all look the same all the way front, all the way to the back.
Man, it looks wonderful. We built a lot of records, like a lot, but nothing like this one. This one is like gorgeous.
Oh, what you doing my pylon, man?
Had to change up a little bit. Hey, it was cool. But I was envisioning something just to totally cover up the back of the cab. You know, I'd like a little more extra storage. So, you know, we built the toolbox to match, you know, the body itself.
You built that by hand?
That's all handmade in the shop, man. Every bit of it.
I think I need to order like 12 of them from you, man.
We can make that happen.
That toolbox setup really flowed together, and for functionality, it's really, really perfect for the truck.
Once that was all built, we just had to finish it back up, put the light bar back on the top, so it's a legit tow truck now. Speaking of, you ready to get Blue Thunder loaded up?
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Everybody at the shop kills it. I mean, working late, but, you know, a team comes together, cool stuff comes about. I'm ready to get to a show off the new record, show off Blue Thunder, show the world